I have the same feeling about Nico.
Okay.
A bit of a downward trend.
Let's see if that feeling is going to be validated once we get into Mirage. We've got Naokai, we've got Skriv to bring you all the action for the first semi of the day.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, so excited to get into this, man. I mean, game of the tournament so far, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I really do hope that it delivers. And we've seen, you know, both of these teams, I think, slowly ramping into top form and whatnot. We've caught them both a little bit as well. So, yeah, really, really hoping that this one delivers as we are very quickly into the action now.
If we get anything like MOUZ yesterday, this game has all the makings to be an all-timer for this tournament, right? But it's still that issue for us. We're not fully convinced with MOUZ. If they're anything like the opening couple of days, then Falcons feel like the much cleaner, much more consistent team to really back in this one. But I'm excited nonetheless, and already starts things off well. It's Nico. He'll find the head of Torji. And MongolZ under a bit of pressure. A lot of people diving on towards his position. He will fall first. JL going to get a double. And alongside Spinx, they've taken this A side.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons decided to stick around, you know, and really take the fight. I still bomb drop could make a difference here. Molotov as well coming in to make things awkward. kyousuke trying to isolate some jewels, but it doesn't happen for him. kyousuke going to be smoked off in towards CT spawn. JL will see him off. A three-piece coming in from, I don't know, the random element of MOUZ, I guess, a little bit. He's in and out, right, over the next couple of tournaments. So certainly as a player, I think he really stepped up yesterday. It was kind of one of the big things that maybe turned their game around. So it's great to see him starting well.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think even with JL as well, when he came in towards this lineup, it feels like naturally it's meant to be an injection of firepower. But actually, the kind of the talking point around MOUZ is that it's primarily all come through Yuanshen. He's been the only consistent real numbers guy on this MOUZ side. And actually, JL for me has looked at times a little bit kind of missing, right? You know, struggling to kind of really slot in towards his roles and positions and whatnot. So that's a really good way to start things off for him. And hopefully a sign of things to come. Spinx, what a way to crack open things. kyousuke was posted on the angle. There is all four remaining here, and Nico's Deagle is going to ring out Supreme, so this could still be really quite dicey. Zelix is sent into the gauntlet of the B site. They've got to cancel this, so they're going to face a lot of casualties, and you can already see this getting a little dicey. Now all down to Nico. 1 versus 2, and he's got the flank.
Wow, I mean, genius. He immediately goes for this as soon as he found that opening kill.
No.
They're going to come towards him. He's got to perform well here up against the Galil of Yuanshen. Picks up the AK. And able to move on it as well. Of course, the aim punch going to be an element here, but Nico gets it done. Oh my goodness, the composure to find that final kill is absolutely brilliant, and it's nigh on a hard eco from Falcons. They managed to convert it, and immediately here now, we've got the game that we wanted.
They walk into the stack, and just the biggest issue, it takes too long for them to cancel. They're so committed to just barreling in towards B, and thinking they can sort of brute force their way in towards the site. Anything but. What a shutdown. And Nico's done so well, like you mentioned. Gets his kill. It's an instant rotation to get in behind, set up this flank, and if anything, cut the rotation. But he gets ahead of it. So really, really well done. And for MOUZ, horrible way for this game to fall flat.
Yeah, and just looking a lot calmer. I think this is one of the things that we'll probably start to talk about here, is the fact that, you know, Falcons, there's now a real injection of experience and how to deal with these bigger games that comes into this team with kyousuke. I think Nico might feel like he has less of a job to do, you know, to keep all the troops together and whatnot, so that might free him up a little bit in the big games. Meanwhile, MOUZ, they have been here. They, you know, are indeed experienced, but experienced in some negative ways, right? This was often a point where they would just hit that ceiling on the older lineup, get to a game like this, and then not be able to win out or take the big scalp or whatever it may be.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think, you know, we have players who, again, are looking to maybe even reprove themselves. And of course, Zelix and JL, I think, going to be still waiting to get comfortable again, or for the first time, however it may be. Looking good here from Falcons. They opted to go in for the force bite. We want to get a return with that bomb plant. Not looking too likely. Nico in behind once again. There will be some kills back around, but Falcons ultimately looking pretty clinical. So 2-1, MOUZ going to have to save it. It will be 3, and as we talk about all the time on these force buys, which seem to have been quite successful in this tournament, actually.
Yeah.
Money is going to be pretty dry for MOUZ, so a lot of work very, very quickly here on their own map pick.
Yeah, for MOUZ, I think, you kind of use this round really just like a bit of a conversation and sort of figure out what we want to be doing in towards our next gun round. But a really nice way to start off here for Falcons. MOUZ's map pick as well, but getting an early little buffer zone to work with on this CT side really is going to help. Got one Deagle for JL. 4 Glocks alongside it. It should be a pretty simple one to put to bed. He's spotted as well. Made a molly or follow it. Should be easy stuff. They're just waiting and hoping they can catch somebody slightly off guard. They love a bomb on and around like this, but it feels very unlikely. And they've got a good read at it as well. Maiden smoke that's dropped in towards under just to cut the options for MOUZ. And JL will join with the rest of the pack, but there's just no clear inroad to anywhere.
Unfortunately, as you would expect. So they take a pivot, looking to use the numbers in at middle. Can we get one? No, we can't. Man, it's looking really, really good for Falcons, isn't it? That extra level that I think maybe in the back of our minds expect Falcons to have against this MOUZ team at the moment. There is, of course, some good firepower on MOUZ, but we're looking for Torji to hopefully step up. We're looking for Zelex to tap into the performances he had yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that against Falcons here.
And on
this
stage.
point in his career. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's obviously a big kind of critical point, I think, for both of these sides in their own regards. I think for MOUZ and the team, but for someone like kyousuke as a player, it's definitely a critique that's come through of when we've got these deep tournament stage games. I've fallen a little flat. MOUZ in particular seems to really be an issue within the roster as a whole. Honestly, on the angle. Got a decent idea about this. It's Spinx around that corner, who has started relatively strong. We've seen already, especially with this new look MOUZ, where Spinx has struggled in terms of his firepower as a whole, really. But I think as his tournament's been progressing, he's been warming up quite a bit. And it feels like the pack's going to go join back towards A. Smoke towards window. But the bomb on the back assertion is committing now towards this A hit, just leaving JL to lurk here towards B. But Tess's sent in. And things will start well. A swing and a find. And this double stack now with MongolZ on the orb, 2 in towards Palace. This A hit is incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't think they know about MongolZ necessarily. They will now. Nico lines them up. The man is a walking highlight reel at the moment. And it's just not going to happen. Carrigan catches JL on a lurk. Oh my goodness. Falcons looking absolutely unbeatable right now. Exertion, the last one left, does take one, but he's dealt with swiftly. And man, it's almost perfection from Falcons. I love the idea of the initial kill. You've got MongolZ on this angle. He's getting all that info. Tess just goes to, use him as like a line of scrimmage almost and just goes in for a really clean kill. And MOUZ, I don't know if I'm a big fan. They just contact out onto A like that. It feels very risky. They had like full belts and everything. So they're really trying to find their feet in this game and slipping all over the place right now.
Yeah, it really feels like, a call made out of spawn. The idea falls a little flat because essentially Falcons aren't giving them any opportunities in the early part of these rounds. And then they just go for a late dive back towards A as sort of a hopeful push. It's a little sloppy and it's not exactly what we want to see. kyousuke, Barrel does get spotted. They're diving through now in towards B. And a bit of pace here, but backside, Carrigan looking to step up. MongolZ will fall. Zelex is sort of wrapped in the back lines, and the captain can't step up to deny this B hit. So quickly, a pacey round by MOUZ will flip the script a little bit, and Nico's left all alone. And 1 versus 3 required for him, and we called him a walking highlight reel. We need one of these highlights right here, right now, and he's spotted out 2, but where is this lurking third player? He has no idea.
The orb going to take him. That was the kill that he needed to make us believe. As you say, though, he was kind of on a timer. I think he finds one and gets flanked out in pretty good time. So, not happening there. Starts with this one. Insertion has a great round. The quick move in towards window as well, I think just confirmed it. Small finger to point at Carrigan, but the rest of the team also struggling to deal with the pistols, it would seem. So, battle stations for MOUZ, certainly manned, look good in that round. A pace change up, hopefully going to rebuild some confidence for them, and we'll see if they can bring that into their first gun round. Yes, we're 4-2, but you have to bear in mind, the types of rounds that they have been winning. Torji is naded out. The Molotov doesn't quite reach him here, but the second nade will. That is not what he wanted, and not a great way for this guy to start the map either. 1 and 6 now.
Yeah, he tried to do the old classic of I'll drop the smoke and I'll just stay in the position that you knew where I was. Sell that ruse, but double nade of that molly top boxes. He couldn't really escape anyway. Yuanshen, nice find, but a quick trade coming through from kyousuke. His second of the round. Back into a 3 versus 3. As Spinx will move forward in towards jungle. There's a minute to work with here for MOUZ, but they've got the A site. And the bomb on the back as Alex will join them for a plant in just a mere moment. Really calling on Falcons in this retake in a second.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Spinx gonna win that one every day of the week. Honestly, might just be it. kyousuke's got an idea that there's someone, you know, lurking around, right? He feels pretty nervous. He's kind of giving his position away. Swapped up the M4. He's got one more bullet. So still probably advisable to pull off a reload here. No kill presenting just yet for either player, to be honest. So it's a soft save that it converts into. Or is it?
I can
An attempt
respect
at the ninja defuse, actually. My bad. I should have seen that one, of course. Carrigan, when he's involved. But a big round for MOUZ.
Yeah. And it's the fact that it's back-to-back, they sort of use that pistol popping towards B as a bit of a catalyst just to wake back up on the C side. But that's a really, really nice round. In that 3 versus 3, when it's all reset as well, they just slowly kind of push forward, take a bit of space, and with that space, it allows for a really solid post-barn to work with. And as we saw, MongolZ getting caught in towards Murder Hole, there's no real in routes for Falcons. That position by Spinx and a smoke towards top con, before you know it, there's absolutely no roads to safety for Falcons. So, a 1-round game, but money broken towards this CT side. It's obviously on the AWP, but you'd assume that's about it. Deagle Carrigan needs to keep an eye on close left. And he won't. It's Alex who catches his head.
Oh, Nico faded into the smoke here. Does reveal himself. I don't think there's necessarily anything coming for Falcons. Going to need a crazy hero moment.
This is just like a protect the president without
Yeah.
AWP, really. Just keep MongolZ alive, or just keep the AWP alive. Doesn't even necessarily have to be MongolZ,
No,
but
that is true.
somebody needs to bring it through in towards the next round. Money is running a little thin for Falcons, and well, now the lead all but gone. So tying it back up, a lot of onus on, well, keeping that alive, but getting a pretty instant response now. It's 3 on the bounce for MOUZ.
Really well recovered. I mean, you know, there is a moment for Falcons. It's 4-1. They've won the force buy, and they look quite dominant in a couple of the rounds, right? So you start to think it's like, this is the position. Do MOUZ actually get into the game? Is it going to require, like, a really strong comeback? As it is, it's a small comeback, but still a pretty good-looking one, right? 3 rounds in a row now for MOUZ. I think all of them looking great. Torji's still struggling, but ultimately as a team, they're getting a lot done here and evening things up quite fast. We've not been here very long. We've not been in this map for very long. It's been pretty quick moving.
To sort of like give Torji a little bit of leeway as well, I think T-side AWPing can be pretty brutal.
No, that is true.
It's a, you know, generally speaking, we look into him a lot more on that CT side. The T side here is about this rifling pack, and so far I think they're all doing fantastic, right? They're all having moments. Yuanshen continues to be such a problem for teams to deal with, which is always even more impressive when you remember that he is now calling. But we're seeing the impact out of Alex again on the stage, which is what we want to see. Yes, they had an incredible map on that overpass. He's like 20 and 6 at the halfway point. And they're just shy of 30 in a very quick map. And Spinx looking pretty solid, which obviously has been a point of contention. It's been brought up all throughout this tournament about that kind of lack of impact for him since they've made these changes within the team. So far, so good. So 4-all back into the bye for Falcons. See, early presence. Nade at the feet of JL.
This is
Got
quick.
support here, though.
This feels, yeah, like if there wasn't a smoke there, they're still looking to go for it. Really thinking about the B hit and a pace change up off the back of the timeout, but, you know, cooler heads prevail. Fast B burst like that is often ill-advised, I think, at the best of times. You might make it work in the pistols, but different game with these guns out. They still really are thinking about B, though, clearing out some angles behind them. But the bomb still remains in the apartments.
Yeah, I might just want to be, honestly, just testing Carrigan. We've already kind of spoke about it when that pop came through early on the Tech 9s. It was sort of his individual mistake that cost them, and they might just be leaning on that a little bit as a late default in towards this round, saying, I think we can out-aim him. It's kyousuke on the corner in towards Get Right. Labored spray by Carrigan, so they were right to make this at a terrible time to try and change the silencer, get that setting off. And they'll lose the B site, and with that, the round. MOUZ, a late pop coming through, but a small mistake. He misclicks, goes to take the silencer off.
That's crazy. I would have figured like all pros just have it unbound. To be honest. I don't think we've seen like anyone.
That's a critical error to make in this sort of a game as well.
I know that.
Semi-final on the stage.
Yeah. Long time since I've seen anyone do that.
Who wants to use an A1S without a silencer?
Right.
One of the worst.
There was like that brief moment for about 6 months where Simple was like,
taking off the silencer,
you know, hiding round in the corners so you can't see the barrel and whatnot. But I genuinely don't think I've seen that for years. Since CS2 came out, I might say, I've not seen someone accidentally do that. It was obviously a huge deal in Go, and they listened and they added it into CS2. And years later, kyousuke maybe even forgot to turn it off. That is wild.
Yeah, big mistake to make. And to make matters even worse as well for Falcons is that the hunt by MOUZ is really quite successful. Honestly, Falls, they're really trying to keep that CT econ at bay. And sure, we can buy back in, but there is nothing left in the back pocket. MP9 out for Carrigan. Get the AWP, the M4s around it. But if MOUZ find round number 10, they might kind of loosely run away with this T side, guaranteeing a lead, it feels like, at the very least.
Yeah, and they have absolutely turned this game upside down. You know, they are now the dominant force, and Falcons are the ones who are stuck. You got to bear in mind, we had the timeout come in. It's not netted success for them. So Falcons just watching this fully slip away from them. Such a fantastic start. They are now at risk of not being able to really capitalize on that. Just a small selection of rounds. MOUZ choosing and indeed proving why this map works so well for them. Looks like they will be going for the simple A execute here as they get lined up outside. A bit of Palace presence. A lot of bodies for Falcons, to be fair, and they've got a man down below. Tessus in this new spot, as was pointed out. See how he performs here. He's going to go unchecked, so a nice start for him, but he is left completely alone, dealt with quickly. Lovely little break onto the smoke, but Nico does lose his life shortly thereafter. Bomb going to get planted here, you would assume. Smoke starting to go down, however, and kyousuke looking to make up for the mistakes of the previous round as he gets himself in quite an open angle here. The AWP misses the shot, and he is rightfully punished. kyousuke with the trade. It's Carrigan's MP9 that we look towards here. Not going to be able to deliver, surely, in this 1 versus 2 now. And indeed, he will go down. MOUZ starting to really take over the game.
I love the calls that MOUZ are making now. It feels like a lot of it is just, we know we're feeling a little bit sharper. We know that the individuals are actually on form today. Let's utilize them. They're very quite basic calls that they dive through in towards the A site, even similar to that B hit in that previous round. It's very much reliant on, can you win out your 50-50? And so far, so good for MOUZ. They are the side that are looking sharper here on the stage. And Falcons falling very, very flat. The start of this map was pretty solid. It was 4 on the bounce in the opening 5 rounds. Since then, it's all been MOUZ. Worrying times. Nico will open up proceedings. JL quick on the trade. And the buy around this is obviously damning, as we were already forewarning for Falcons. Guns aren't great. Tessus is gaining some good information here. Question, does he even consider about wrapping through in towards Palace? We have freebie on towards Spinx.
Yeah.
Also wrapping mid. Could be more than just one.
Well, he hears him top mid now. Or at least one player. So I think he is looking to try and get in behind. Could be a perfectly timed flank. We've got 2 players on A itself. Nice little smoke that it's like, I didn't clear Palace, but ramp is clear. And of course, they're wrapping in, so surely you figure they've got to have a guy in a good position, as Tessus is, unfortunately.
He's late.
His teammates fall. I think he needed them to just slow them down. He will be spotted, he will be thought about. That is unfortunate. M4 is retrieved, but surely, yeah, nothing coming. It's unlucky. I think one kill from his teammates draw them in and slow them down for just a moment. He might have been absolutely devastating, but just not the case. MOUZ moving up to 7 now, so winning out the half. And a really great run from them, 6 in a row. Timeout coming in from Falcons to try and net this final round of the first half.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's slightly like not his fault, but he takes maybe half a second to a second extra time kind of clearing corners in towards ramp as you would. And it's that costs him the ability to catch a player moving forward just in towards Con. So an unfortunate move by Tessus. I think, you know, he's all of about a second off from potentially getting in for a chance of a double there. But second time out taken by Falcons, and they know the onus on the difference in feeling of an 8-4 half and a 7-5. I want to close things on a strong point, but MOUZ continue to really warm up in towards this game.
And this is like without timeouts, you know, they've just been able to turn this game around because they're confident in the map. So they still have a lot of resources in that sense to work with where Falcons don't. So if suddenly Falcons start getting back into the second half, I think MOUZ can easily put a stop to them, at least in theory. Quick moves towards B, MOUZ again, enjoying that as they try and find the opener. Carrigan continues to be a pain point over on that B-bomb site. It's a slightly different philosophy.
You know, you call it a pain point, it feels like a 3 point, if anything. They've been testing him and winning that every single round. He's never been able to hold that site yet. And I think they're realizing this as well. They know that worst case scenario, they can default towards Carrigan, and it seems to work.
Yeah, it's also little things as well. Like if you show presence over there, are they going to maybe rotate someone in because they know that B needs a better hold than they can offer? It's interesting, like sort of where the philosophies are really. Carrigan, I think, has always been a dump the Bianca type role. I think some teams, at least, you know, someone in the middle of the pack in terms of overall star power, just because it can be so influential.
Here we go, though. They're going to go contact towards A. This is a great call. We know it with the benefit of hindsight, but there's actually some really nice gaps for them to work with. They spotted a player in towards Palace, and that'll tunnel vision MONOZ in. Nico will also fall at the same time as Zelex and JL, the new boys for this MOUZ side. Give them the A site. And Xerxen, a new captain here to step up. Zelex looking for more. He'll be caught by Tessus, but surely an impossible round to recover. In a 1 versus 5 turn, 1 versus 4, a tag. Spinx left down on 2 points of HP, but with 1 foot in the grave. As long as he's still breathing, MOUZ are going to be walking away with 8 rounds at the half, which is a fantastic showing, considering that early bit of form from Falcons. What a run at the end. 7 in a row coming through from MOUZ to close out their T side. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons just gassing out, I guess. Really, really putting a lot of energy into those early rounds. Great force by win, of course. Can set you up to find like a 6-1 scoreline, you know? You fight off against a weaker rifle buy in the context of how everything unfolds. So you just need one really good, solid follow-up.
Yeah.
And you can have a great scoreline, but it is not the case. It is not the way that it goes. Falcons will be kicking themselves. 2 timeouts expended. Could not break the deadlock. They are stuck in the mud, and they are potentially struggling, I think, on the stage. But we'll see.
It's kind of interesting as well, you know, looking at the individuals that are struggling. Like, obviously, we kind of touched on Carrigan, but we're never going to look at him in a numbers department. But, like, MONOZ looking really quite weak and actually missing way more sitters than we're used to with MONOZ. And it normally feels like he's somebody who steps up to these occasions. But the other one's Tessus. For me, he's been one of the most consistent factors for this Falcon side in this tournament. So many times he stepped up for them and looked so unbelievably solid. And we're not getting it. Nico looked great. He came out of the gates firing at all cylinders, but yeah, unfortunately, he's the only one who's really looked solid towards Falcons. Everybody else needs to step up. And there's always that worry in the back of our minds that at any given point, TYLOO can start to come alight, especially now he's on that CT side.
Oh, interesting setup here from MOUZ. 2 holding the underpass. Xerxen, late and dangerous move. Could have been caught off. They obviously don't know how good they've got it, but the flashes are still going to be good here, and Yuanshen will be fully isolated for quite a while. So going to have to deliver. He gets one. Will that be enough? I suppose we'll find out. Really quick flank coming in from those underpass players. So they've obviously thought about all this. Whether it works out is another question. You've got to get past Nico on the P250. He doesn't have armor with it. He's got a flash to work with maybe, but I don't think he's going to have chance to use that. Really important pistol here. That is the top of the head. Crazy. Does he spot the other player, though? He certainly should have. He's definitely ready here, but can't land the shots. Misses out on some of that timing. There's a battle inside the smoke going on. An impassable object. It's all going to be down to Tessus to try and hold. There's not a lot of time. And Tessus keeping his cool here. Down goes that 10-second timer. Round is won. And Tessus is so damn accurate. He will go down with the ship. But a big pistol for Falcons.
Yeah, that's huge. Just when I was calling on him as well, right? Saying his name. He's felt so reliable, so consistent for Falcons. And he steps up in a big way. Nico, that shot is monstrous on towards JL. And it really is kind of a shock to the system for MOUZ. But unfortunately, it was just the wrong read. You know, that they're expecting this late wrap to come back for what essentially looks like an A split, the way in which MOUZ are set up. But it's the wrong call. Simple and effective. Outnet Falcons and opener. Only going to smoke in towards Con. A lot of early mid presence, and they're not exactly shying away from making noise. So let's going to make a move. His leg spotted, and he's left very low. There's two here. This could be a bloodbath, but they get away with it. Spinx and Zelex all combined.
Yeah.
And an opener, but there's so many low players towards MOUZ.
I bet for a moment Tessus is like, how is this guy not dead? And then realizes it's two players. But they have left gaps, and those gaps will be exploited. Into the waiting arms of JL, though. On the Deagle, he's got a lot of quick support that comes in. A FAMAS as well to get through. The Molotov is difficult to work around, but they're able to trade it up. And Yuanshen does so well to leave it down to MONiZ here. This is definitely a doable clutch, though. They're insanely low across the board. Tiny Dink comes in. He just doesn't have that information, does he? Like, if he took a bit of a wider berth here,
Hang on.
might be able to get something done. He's left so low, and the nade will finish him off. It's a shame. I think if he plays that with a degree of higher confidence, he really could have done a lot, but how was he to know in that moment? MOUZ winning out the force buy. I mean, worst case scenario for Falcons. It all starts with Tessus, who really was baited in by the leg shots.
Especially when we look towards that first half, you know, the only real saving grace for Falcons was winning the force buy and getting 4 on the bounce because of it. And the fact that they aren't able to go back-to-back to kickstart their T side puts them in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah.
It really, you know, at a pretty early-ish point in this game, it sort of feels like Mirage is already a write-off. It already feels like it goes the way of MOUZ. Falcons to recover feels super unlikely. Torji, Yuanshen kills a piece. And the force buy that Falcons have to bring out back in response is not finding the same level of efficacy. Zelex, it's a messy fight with Tessus, but he'll come out on top. And it's MONiZ and Carrigan to try and save face here, but a 2 versus 5 that surely has absolutely no backbone behind it.
Yeah, how do they make it in here is kind of what you're trying to figure out as a viewer on that mini-map. Well-timed smoke to keep Carrigan at bay. MONiZ got to find some kills. Not going to happen. Okay, I barely get the sentence out, and he is dead. Carrigan could force a bomb plant here. There's one player down below him. If he can find that kill, then maybe, indeed, he gets the bomb plant. All right. Fair enough. Nice and healthy. Take another life away, potentially. Not ready for the man in at CT, however. And he will go down. So MOUZ hitting the double digits. Looking good while doing so. And Falcons just struggling to get into this game. Missing some of that extra factor to them, you know? I think we were really hoping to go toe-to-toe, and then they win that force buy right at the start, and it's like, okay, here we go. Going to be a really sharp competition, but it's just not been the case. Like, MOUZ take over the game in that first half, and they look set to do the same in this second. Falcons, yeah, lacking some of the big names or a big clutch or an unlikely 5-on-3, something like this that you expect from like a Carrigan team. I suppose it's still indeed taking a bit of time to sprinkle that magic in.
Yeah, and when you look at Falcons as well, I think the desk sort of brought it up, but they're the only team sort of really at this tournament who have not just had, at least at one point, like a glaring stinker compared to what we expect of them. MOUZ, of course, their start was a real hiccup. But Falcons, it's always felt pretty clean. They're the heavy favorites coming into a CAC as well. And even yesterday against Legacy, it was just so unbelievably clean in the way they dismantled art style of calling, or their lack thereof, is how it sort of actually really felt. At the moment, MOUZ, so comfortable. And Torzi has become a light on this CT side. We sort of said it. AWPing T-side can often be difficult at this level. The CT is where you can find your comfort, and he gets a double to open up round number 16. So Falcons looking for a chance of a hero AK. It's on the back pocket of Carrigan, but a swing in by Yuanshen. Gets one, information on the second. Surely the 11th is all but locked into place. The bomb on the back of Carrigan. And he will get the support of kyousuke, but JL's advanced through apartments. Difficult angle to clear. There's no flash to force him off this position, so he should be able to get both, and he does. Brilliant from JL. Anchoring towards B. And MOUZ find 11. They are so close to the finish line now.
I mean, it's difficult. If you can't trade moments like that, I don't think that you're really in a position to be arguing that the map could have been or should have been yours. Difficult to see as Falcons, unfortunately, falling a bit flat here, which, you know, it's not like it would have been a full expectation. It's not like they're a bad team on Mirage. So MOUZ with what could be a pretty big statement here, perhaps a tougher second map for them, but they're really looking good, and we've got some of those names that we want to be performing actually doing so. What is he going to open here? Nico as well going to chime in. So Falcons with a lot of keen aggression at the top end of middle will absolutely make it work. 5 versus 3 straight out of the gate. MOUZ, it's not over just yet, right? I think you've got to remain attentive until you do hit that 12 rounds and get it absolutely locked in. Falcons still, this is a losable round, right? The way they've been playing could go sideways, and MOUZ are stacking up B. I like the idea.
Yeah, and with sort of the form of Alex and JL and Torzi really starting to show up on this CT side, I don't want to discount them just yet. Torzi going to get a little bit active here. I like this. If he can get one and get out, it's really important. He's stuck on this left-hand side, though, is the issue. He should get insta-traded. We'll see. Under the angle, 40 seconds. Carrigan will catch the youngster in the back line to that flank. Does find form. Torzi looking to get his kill. I don't know if he spotted the feet, but he'll get one. The insta-trade, he can't really get out from there, so it's all on JL. 55 points of HP. I hope and a dream, and he just doesn't even realize that Nico's jumped out of the window. So Falcons do find one. With only the one casualty as well, that's the sort of round that we like to see that can springboard you forward. Still a fair, decent road to recovery, but I think as you were touching on, MOUZ need to be careful not to get too overconfident here. There's a real world of, honestly, how easy this game has been so far, that you can sort of just take your foot off the gas a little bit. And even against like a 75% Falcons, you can't afford to do that.
No, for sure. And I mean, a really nicely played round from Falcons as well. If they'd converted the pistol, I'd maybe start to, you know, believe in them a little bit. But obviously not the case. But yeah, really, really well played on all that timing. Carrigan in behind, nobody over-swinging in the apartments. Well read, they knew what was up, that there was going to be a player pushed in, etc. So this looks pretty exciting. Yuanshen trying to answer back and see what he can get away with. I think you call a timeout here if you're MOUZ, you know, losing that kill and in the fashion you've just got to put, well, I suppose nip it in the bud would be the phrase to use here. Just make sure that there is no potential for this to spiral out of control.
Interesting way in which MOUZ are playing this as well for them. It's so much mid-presence that it just gives them the viability to rotate quite quickly. And Torzi is there, catching towards short. He keeps high trading towards apartments. He can catch that lurking player. Nico's sticking around, but the bomb's going to go back towards A. Tesses, he's advanced through Palace. Feels like a good spot, but that's a great smoke.
Yeah, that slows their whole roll. Got Nico on a light lurk. Looking to try and find something here in the underpass, and there is indeed an opportunity. Spinx, you know, watching it and maybe taking a fight over there. He's going to move away, of course, as this utility comes in. So it's late up con. Are they going to be ready for that? Again, I think they have half an eye on it. And Nico, he gets the chance but misses the shots. They will now try and take him, and that is sometimes a dangerous game to be playing. Zelex trades him out, but is left incredibly low. 10 seconds to get the bomb down. They needed that CT kill. They do indeed get it. Torji with the AWP here. What does he want to do? 1 versus 3. Surely has to give it. He is thinking about it for a moment, but he will make his way out eventually. And Falcons scaling up, looking good. Some nice rounds, but the gap is still monumental here. Like I say, MOUZ, they've got all these timeouts. Hopefully chuck one in. You know, it's going well at the moment, but I think just maybe we try and play a slower round, or maybe we talk about this round and rush in there, get annoying. But they just need some fresher ideas, I think.
I think, you know, for Falcons, we've become so used to seeing this side when they win rounds. It's like incredibly flashy, and these aren't, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it's really solid. Everyone's having their moments. The rifling core, Monacy, all stepping up a killer piece, and they just move quite simply through. The spacing's quite excellent as well. That mid to late round adjustment coming forward is good too. I'm going to get a buy back in, but I think as you're touching on, I'm sort of surprised that we don't get a pause here. This feels like a prime opportunity to get Cyclone on the mic and just get a bit of an understanding of like, what are Falcons doing? What is the sort of defaults that we can break down? They've obviously lost a bit of the control in this game. It's a really bold call because the real risk here for MOUZ, if you lose round number 19, money's broken, Falcons get an 8th, then they get a 9th. That's a 2-round game. That's all the pressure on your next gun round. And yeah, that worries me. Flash trying to force Tessus off the angle. He's been spotted now as well. Zelex is trying to be a nuisance, but the double swing is fantastic. And now having Palace control taken means that there's just no real problems to worry about with that lurk, which obviously was an issue in the previous round.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice adjustment as well. That is something that you might, if you're overthinking things, throw that into a timeout, to be fair, that it's like, right, this is what I want to do. We've got to talk about it a little, but MOUZ are doing very well to keep things quite loose and adaptive. I think that is the style that Xerxen is trying to employ, not loads of, like, deep calls, just very, very simple ideas, and trying to string those ideas together into a round win. Torji with a big spot, nearly does go down on the secondary peak.
Risky.
Get that smoke in, he kind of knows what's up. That's definitely 3 players spotted. Trying to come in from behind. Got to be careful here. Spinx in a dangerous spot. They're going to boost up here, but it still could be good for MongolZ. Misses the shot. Everybody falling, though. The bomb as well has been dropped. MongolZ is incredibly low. Nico has to do all of the heavy lifting here. He's now the only one left, in fact. And surely not going to be able to get much done. Oh, JL with the recovered AWP will take him. And MOUZ, they do get the 12th. They don't need a timeout in order to do it. It's a small adjustment to just give them the man advantage. And then they work from there. Really well played by those 2 in the Palace as well. Again, the peaks, the trust, the swinging together. Really great from MOUZ. It's all very nicely slotting into place.
Yeah, it's also got to be said as well, that's such a risky idea by Falcons as well. They're planting on the A site, knowing there's people so close to them, and they're just hoping that the one angle they're planting for, which was front side of triple, that no one's holding for that, but Zelex, that sort of advanced angle over towards Tetris, made all the difference. No committal of the bomb. You can see it's still left in towards spawn, but 3 early are looking towards A. This is a very default setup here by Falcons right now. Just trying to probe for information. But MOUZ on map point, on their map pick, and it really does feel impossible now to let this slip. And we joke about the caster's curse, but Falcons have not looked that clean.
Struggle for kyousuke. Early utility down once again. There is Palace presence. Smoke will come in. They're looking to try and slowly burst. Maybe even just fully contact out here, actually, and it will work. MongolZ had a good feeling about it. He takes down Torji. Zelex in at triple. Going to be the only line of defense that remains. He played it patiently. A quick flick across has made the space, bought some time for his teammates to move in. MongolZ finds himself alone. Can't quite land it onto that con player. The bomb's been spilled. He tries to look for a slightly different angle here, and you know what? It might just work. How does that miss? Down he will go. And unfortunately for Team Falcons, they just never really got off the ground. It was a really, really nice start, to be honest, and it looked like they were going to fully take over the map. And then they just disappeared. MOUZ with great adjustments and all without the timeouts. Feels like a rare thing to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then again, you know, you then have to critique that stuff. It was the sort of more percentage style kind of Counter-Strike of get your advantage, take the advantage, and we'll just keep it. Never squander chances, never squandered opportunities. They're so reliable at the moment. So we'll have to see. Fistful's coming around, which is normally our indication that this map is about to get underway. It is Dust2, map number 2. The pick of Falcons to, well, stay alive here in this semi-final and bite back against MOUZ to push us towards that decider. But all questions are as can they as we get this one underway. MOUZ, of course, starting on that CT side. Falcons looking to get things underway. A nice pistol here just to shrug off the woes of that Mirage would be the nice way for us to regain a bit of confidence in them.
Yeah, and I think for me, it has to be convincing here. It has to be a one-sided map just to scare MOUZ that that third is not going to be another plain sailing adventure. We'll see. Falcons start off on the T side of things, of course. An early smoke coming out towards Xbox. A slow build-up as they look for some mid-control, crunching in, see if there's anyone pushing forwards or taking an aggressive angle. MOUZ, as it is, playing it pretty standard.
A lot of eyes on that youngster as well of Zelex. Such a good first map. An incredible overpass yesterday. And he continues to prove why he's got this call up from the academy side. They're setting up for a B here, and then they come. They're diving on forward. Zelex is so unbelievably blind. And the goalies of Spinx can't deny them moving their way forward. Zelex taking a couple of hopeful taps, looking to try and slow them down on this B hit, but Tessus is there. Rips his head off, and the bomb will follow. A retake in towards the B side. We know how difficult this can be, but what makes it worse is the lack of kit.
Yeah, for sure. Not looking too good, but we'll find out. They are going to give it a go, of course. The response from kyousuke to track that nade is pretty clean. He's going to keep it going. And I think may well have just netted them the round here. Yeah, and a reluctant save. They've got bits of armor. Try and take a kill or whatever, but the round is just over for MOUZ. Falcons with a really nice start and blindsiding them as well at the end of the day. So maybe going against the grain of their usual pistol or just fighting against the presence that they had tried to display. TYLOO does take some bomb damage, so that affects his head armor ever so slightly, but he'll be happy here. A good force buy on the cards if they want to go for it.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, they already had success in the force buy in that previous map, so I can see where the confidence might come to kind of go for this. But kyousuke, what a round from him. 3 kills on essentially 1 HP. Brilliant work. Just as we were critiquing him as well. Very, very slow. Kind of map number 1, 10 and 14, 0.68 rating. You know, it's not exactly the stat line you want from a player with so much impact in towards Falcons. But a nice way to build his confidence. If you get that force, upgraded pistols across the board, the scout for TYLOO to round it out. And a hopeful tap will leave Carrigan at 31 points of HP through that smoke.
Getting close on some of these shots. Falcons, though, not thwarted. Carrigan will still lead the charge. And they will still look for the mid to B split, where B is pretty heavily defended by a number of 5-7s. So, yeah, this does make you worry a little. The first man going in is pretty damn low as well. Nice nade and a nice face from Spinx. It's all by himself, and with that being spotted, with a bit of presence, they will call it off. My goodness, lucky to be alive around that corner. TYLOO, meanwhile, has just come off the angle at the worst time. He will find the trade on this scout. The rotation's coming in nice and quick. There's a player in the lower tunnels that's isolated. So this feels like a very doable situation. Nico's got to get this right, and he will. 2-piece for him, spots the third, and may well have just saved the round.
Keep an eye on this, though. kyousuke and Nico are both low. Tap on that plan, not a commit. And Zershin doubling back towards B. Wants to try and catch Nico. What do TYLOO and Zershin do from here? It kind of feels like where they're set up, that there's no real point looking for the round itself. Nico will eventually fall, and they're going to try and look to recover that AK if they can. They should be able to. Zershin will get over there for it. And looks like they're going to give them the luxury of keeping that alive in towards the next round. So you can slightly invest around this. I wouldn't want to go for a force buy around the AK and the Scout, but bit of util, try and get Yuanshen in towards the thick of these fights, and there might be something more to be had here. Back-to-back rounds for Falcons, but I think MOUZ can take light in the fact that they made that quite expensive. They've kept that T-side economy just in check a little bit, not allowed it to run away.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that's a very, very costly round as the way that it goes in the end. But yeah, this is still a really good start for Falcons. They had that on the previous map. So we're going to be waiting a while before we start bigging up the Falcons and whatnot, as we know what MOUZ have done in this series already. Not a bad looking buy in this round either, where usually you'd be like on the hard eco. They've got an AK involved. Of course, that Scout can be devastating on a map like Dust2. Flashed off initially. He fires a shot as well, so they're going to be aware-ish of where that Scout is playing. What is the round going to look like here from Falcons? They've had a lot of success with these later B plays thus far. And MOUZ, I think, are just stacking on top of each other, really trying to make space for this AK to find damage. And, well, this might be the opportunity. They're coming into him straight through a smoke. Is there any assistance? The answer is no. Timing here for Zelix could be huge. Want to see half an eye on it? Not quite, though. He's on the edge of the smoke, and they were ready for him. It's unfortunate. I think they were in the right place, but Falcons have done well to beat them down there.
Yeah, their spacing, their trading is brilliant. And honestly, you'll spam down JL through that box, even all on the shoulders of Spinx. Of course, the rounds are right off, but he would like to get a consolation kill, an upgrade of some sort. It will have a buy-in towards the next round. So it's not exactly like he needs to stay alive here. Just hear a bit of this information. Nobody going in this direction, though. Falcons are going to put that third up on the board. So far, a good start. I'm still a little bit unconvinced just yet, because it's giving me the same signs as what Mirage did. A decent start for Falcons, but when the money got reset and when MOUZ had consistent buys to work with, he actually did look pretty damn solid. He's going to try and cross. Can he get an upgrade? He does pick up a Scout. He's looking for something better, and he will eventually fall. I think he was maybe even trying to go for that Galil. Doesn't really matter, though. They can buy back in, and this time, towards the orb. M4's alongside it, full belter utility. So this is the first true test for MOUZ. The litmus test of how good their CT side really looks here on Dust2. But a very early timeout. We kind of said they didn't need timeout really at all in towards Mirage. It never felt like there needed to be an injection of info from Cyclone. But they're going to get it here, heading in towards round number 4. So I think, you know, even safe to say, you can see kind of the pressure on this round for MOUZ. Like, they realize you can find an instant response here. You can keep Falcons within arm's reach. However, lose this gun round, and Falcons can start snowballing.
Game on our hands, perhaps. MOUZ looking to deliver that. I'm really hopeful for what they're going to be able to deliver here. I hope that there is that adjustment, as Falcons really looking comfortable. It's tough. I don't want to lean on them too much just yet. They have to maybe grow the gap to more like 6 rounds before I really start to believe. MOUZ, first big opportunity for them since the pistol to get something going. A lot of players yet to frag. You know, it's really not a great look scoreboard-wise. Torji in an advanced position to try and kick off the round, but he's Molotov'd away.
Yeah, it's still very early doors where not be too critical, I guess, just yet. This is the round which we'll critique quite a lot. We'll zoom in with a bit of a microscope. Smoke down for the cross. They take that control just outside of doors, but they don't commit to it. They double back. So it might even be an A hit here, but just leaving Karrigan as his lurking presence. We've sung the praises of Karrigan lurking. He's done really, really good work. Quite a lot, especially on this map, where he's found a lot of gaps. But this angle from jail is very, very often overlooked.
Yeah, he should be able to net the kill here for sure. The bomb is so late to all of this.
Yeah,
really
seconds.
Disjointed at the moment. They have to wait for him.
Great nade, too.
Nade comes in. I'm trying to track. There's no more smokes left, right? And the utility that they do have is on the other side of the map. So it is all just going to come down to the shots, really. 30 seconds left. Carrigan looking for a super late lurk. JL has a decision to make. Does he move away? He is going to come off the angle at the very least, but he has a good idea. Trades that info to Torji, who finds a key second frag. Bomb going to go down. They're expecting a lurk from B. There is only one kit available, but ultimately this looks very doable.
Yeah, one kit available. The retake util is very thin. Now does JL utilize this flash? They've got to win this by aim duels more than anything. That's the same on both sides. A preemptive shot by MongolZ will get that tag. You finally get the kill on towards JL as well as he looks to see off Torji at range. And MongolZ might just bail them out here. Xerxian, Zelex combine well as Spinx will get in for the party himself. MOUZ, a really nice round, and it all starts off the back of a two-piece from Torji. And then the rifling core come together to pull off that clutch. And I think, in a way, it's so impressive that they pull off that retake with the lack of util, that one kit they had to work with. That's impressive because, honestly, one or two mistakes, and that goes all up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, it nearly was there. They were on top of each other at the end. I think maybe a second and a half, you might debate if we're splitting hairs. Really quite close on the defuse. But they couldn't find that kit in time. I think Spinx picked it up after the fact, so a little close for sure, right? And I think maybe a lesson in holding on to some utility or making sure that that kit is in the right hands, so to say. But still, it's the initial finds from Torji, as you mentioned, really, really clean. Break coming in, no peek off the back of it. Honestly, I'm sure going to be frustrated. He had a nice round. He had a nice moment in the post plan, but just no support from the rest of the team. Will mean that MOUZ are breathing down their necks as quickly as possible. Falcons, like us, also not quite sure if they can really start to streak ahead and come back into things. Or is it going to be more of MOUZ leading the way as they did on Mirage?
Spinx doesn't move. This position is so strong. You got Zelex, who would essentially be the early warning at range. He'll just spot the shoulder first. It normally feels like from a fight like this, whoever moves first loses. As that lurk smoke comes through from Nico. Spinx will double back. Molly as well to stop the roll. At least for now, Nico's just drawing attention. This isn't the commit. And a resmoke up towards short with Xerxian's going to play behind. It does give the opportunity to dive down into a CT, which they will. Xerxian playing front side Gandalf. Could be huge. The flash is fantastic, but my God, is the spray lackluster. A labored one as Xerxian will fall. Zelex gets his, but Tesses, his late move will find success. And Nico now activates as well. MOUZ just pulled apart here. And one by one, they fall. Everybody has their moment. And my God, Falcons, what a response for MOUZ. That's a round that's a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah, what a round. I mean, once in a while you get a round like that. It feels like there's 7 players on the Falcons side. You know what I mean? They're just all over and able to flank around. And then you got another guy in from mid. And yeah, everywhere you look, there's a Falcons player. Absolutely insane stuff. I mean, Xerxian will be kicking himself. Let's say he gets instantly traded. It's probably not too different of a round in the end. So yeah, Falcons certainly saving that one for a rainy day. A lot of trust in individual players to hit their mark, but they do.
Honestly. Waiting. Got a quad stack long here who are going to pull back to the A site. So contact by Falcons out long is actually going to gain a decent amount of space here. And MOUZ are just sticking it as a pack. They're just hoping to trade well.
I like it as a concept. It could be messy here. Nico, oh, going to get caught a little. He's got backup. The backup has to be good. He goes down quickly, but it is kyousuke here looking good, keeping his cool to see off the round. A 4-piece for him. He heard the criticism. He's up to 11-1 off the back of that. And Falcons giving MOUZ a taste of their own medicine here. Another buy round coming in from the CT side. Let's see what they have.
And already kind of 2 critical multi-kill rounds from him. That pistol, the 1 HP 3K. And then there just to shut down that pack. Really well done. Nice 4-round buffer for Falcons to work with. Back into the bite. Decoy out to try and bait a peek, but there's 2 across towards B, and Falcons are going there early. Zelex just needs to be a little careful. He's taking a lot of damage now, and it's about survival. You got Spinx on the back line. That lurk smoke will allow Nico to get out. He'll get in front of the Molotov too. They know this is a possibility, and now they know it's definitely happening. Causing in trouble, and he'll get caught by Carrigan, who makes his move through mid. Spinx has to stand tall, but he can't because Carrigan comes in behind. And kyousuke one of his own too. As Zelex falls, this round's all but done. Xerxin and JL know there is no chance of getting back in towards B. So they'll save their M4s, and it's Falcons up to 6, and they are quite comfortably now running away with this T side.
Change-ups, really looking good in that sense, able to find the mix-ups in their approach. Lovely start on the T side. I think there's a world in which, you know, not a lot of teams do it, but their Mirage T side was maybe starting to look decent towards the end. They just didn't have any, you know, space to work with. But yeah, this could be a severe takeover if MOUZ are not careful. And like I said, right at the start of this map, it has to be convincing from Falcons. I think we're certainly, you know, not crazy to side with them in terms of winning this map. But if it was super close going into Nuke, I think MOUZ would still feel pretty comfortable. If this is really one-sided, then MOUZ have to recheck themselves and a new game plan maybe, and we've got to switch things up in terms of the game theory, not just like the map theory. So yeah, if this becomes very one-sided, I think that MOUZ as a team worry about map number 3 rather than being like, okay, we did well there, not our favorite map, let's kind of run it back and do the same sort of thing on Nuke. Yeah, Falcons, I think putting the fear into them a little. We have another timeout that comes through for MOUZ, another buy round as well. But this is one of those key turning points where it could get very, very one-sided.
Last time these two sides played as well, back in Krakow at Dust2, double overtime, 1917, in favor of MOUZ. Looked like a shadow of that side, but also even the side from map number 1. So what changes off the back of their second time out? Cyclone really is looking to steady this ship. We always talk about it. It feels like you just need those foundations in the first half. Like, bare minimum 4 rounds, but realistically, getting up to 5 puts you in a position to actually properly contend. All it means is you find a pistol and you're right back into a decent spot. JL's pushed long here and he's playing up towards the door. That's good information he can gain just by sound cues alone.
Perfectly timed on those smokes. I think they're pretty much on exactly the same timer. Nothing happening at B, though. Both teams recognize that at the very least. Are we ending towards A? I mean, they've got the long presence here, slight bit of short control, but you can see Falcons, all of their pieces with a lot of trust, finding a lot of success as they're moving in as solo entities, and that means they can do an awful lot, take a lot of map control at the same kind of time. JL, hard posted as he has been so many times. Are they ready for him? 35 seconds, the contact up short. Meanwhile, turns away from the flash and the second, but it's the second that gets him. Lovely move over there towards long. Meanwhile, they're able to swing out and find more. Spinx trying to keep the dream alive a little bit here, though. He survives. His teammate will go down. He falls to the AWP eventually. Zelex in a 1 versus 3. He's not in a bad spot. There's been a broken attempt to the cross smokes, and there's none left. So he finds a good clean kill. And he takes a quick reposition. This could be big. I mean, MongolZ is already ready for him, though. Molotov coming in to make that AWP feel uncomfortable. I'm with Zelex, but against the MongolZ AWP, it's going to be tough. The flames just spread to him ever so slightly, so he has to give up the position for now. He's going to take a repeat, though. Surely, is there anything for him here? A flash, maybe? No, it is just the peaks, and somehow Zelex is slipping through unseen. He will now be known about up close, but he still catches MongolZ off guard. It's Tessus in the pit. It's Tessus in the pit. There's no time on the bomb, and Tessus plays it patiently. Absolute perfection. Once again, the calmest player. There was one right there, and maybe indeed that's communicated as he tries to pick up the AWP, but couldn't quite find it. it's tough in the end for Zelex. He gives it a good go, but a good go is not going to be good enough here.
Yeah, exactly. And we're getting to the point now for MOUZ where they're actually really running out of chances to make this competitive. This half is running away from them so fast. Really well played. Just that patience from the pit. The plant for him as well, but unfortunately for Zelex, yeah, I think as you're kind of touching on it, he drops down. It looks like he goes for the right idea, at least. It probably was communicated over. There is a kit down ramp, but he couldn't find it. And an shot by MongolZ, misses by a whisker. I might have a second chance out of him and Torzi. Oh man, pictures away from each other. He goes for a little look. He'll double back as he keeps eyes trained on towards lower. kyousuke sent forward. Xertion. There's the fall. They know it being a boost as well, that they can put pressure on towards short quite early.
I mean, they're just getting away with so much. You know, the flash is a bit broken there. He turns into it slightly. It's really not perfect, but he's still able to find the kill despite all of that. Then you've got MongolZ playing one of his dirty angles that he's known for. So they're feeling a lot more confident to go for less successful moves on paper. And this round's over. MOUZ have abandoned the B-bomb site to the chagrin of the defense. Zelex is close enough to maybe give it half an attempt, but takes a little ding through the door. I think you just save here, fellas, and they do indeed. Reluctantly have to concede it. That certainly sucks when you're trying to come back into things and close rounds and only lost to one player, and then you just make the wrong choice. You know, there's nothing you can do. You have to accept yet another round going the way of Falcons.
Yeah, exactly. This is really dicey. I mean, for if I'm MOUZ, I'm burning this third and final timeout as well in this first half. You just have to. You cannot afford to put up such a lackluster CT side and have any real chance. And the real worrying thing about this is, because this is looking so dominant at the moment, that could really leak in towards map number 3. The Falcons are really alive and kicking. Really feels like a non-starter. That's labored, and JL and Spinx will get kills of their own. AK scooped up there as well. So a silver lining, but it's a dark sky nonetheless, as Falcons are up to 8, and they are steamrolling ahead here in what has been a very uncompetitive Dust2. And thankfully, they've completely shook off all of the worries we have off the back of Mirage. Rough showing, a poor performance. They never really got in towards that game, and now we're seeing the vice versa from MOUZ, who just cannot get going themselves. They dive out towards long. Spinx, first to fall. Testis will also drop in all of the blindness that we have there. It is reset back into a 4 versus 4, and they're going to re-aggress. Nico's full blind, but he gets away with a kill before he gets traded by JL. How he gets away with even one there is baffling to me.
I mean, how many times are we going to do that? You know, there's been so many opportunities for nice kills that they do let slip away. It's a quick response over towards B. Zelex is alone and just about makes it inside of that smoke. They surely have to consider it, though. Again, you know, been really playing a cerebral game. He chucks down the flash. But with JL's kill, does not want to give the advantage back. So he will drop away, but they have a good idea of where he is at the moment. MongolZ is not a million miles away. They get the bomb plan. The B retake for a team with only 1 round here is certainly a daunting prospect. They've got kits available, they've got the 1 Molotov, and that is all. It's the AWP as well that stands out like a sore thumb. Not in the hands of MongolZ. No, he lands the tag on the second player, goes back in for a bit more and somehow gets that. How has he ever landed it? MongolZ just cannot miss. Oh my goodness. Incredible stuff. The AWP in the right hands for Falcons, and they just can't stop winning, even if they tried.
This is baffling now for MOUZ. Things are just not clicking for this side. And MongolZ, what a moment for him to step up. He does so well to isolate these fights. But MOUZ show him way too much respect. They make it too easy for him. No trading. The spacing doesn't allow for him to fall off the back of the first. And they just cannot buy a round right now. Third and final timeout used in the penultimate of play. And absolutely everything is clicking right now for Falcons. This Dust2 already looks all but over in the first half just by the sheer audacity in the way that Falcons are playing. And MOUZ looks silenced. They just cannot get going. You look across the board as well towards MOUZ. 2 and 8 for Xertion. 6 for both Spinx and TYLOO being the best you've got in 10 rounds of play. It's a tough watch. Xerxin could be in trouble here as well. Molly might just go a little shallow, so it gives Xerxin the luxury of getting out.
Spinx closer to the action than he realizes, but he will drop away. I think you'll take it. You know, the initial attempt from Falcons is usually quite successful. So if you're able to weather that storm, perhaps things are taking a turn for the better. Really big round here, of course. You know, you wake up to the fact that it's like, oh my goodness, double digits. Yeah, we can't let that happen, guys. We have to respond and, you know, give us some tiny bits of room to work with into that second half. It is often pressure that can wake the best of players up from their slumber. So we'll find out here. 50 seconds left on that clock for Falcons.
"45 seconds. It's a B smoke comes down, but the lurk on the corner too. This is all a ruse the way they're set up. Bomb on the back of Tessus looks ready to pounce forward, and Karrigan making his move. He might actually get a bit of a gap here. Xerxin's holding for exactly this, and Karrigan will fall. But at the same time, they're scaling towards nice shot. And already now down into a 5 versus 3. Make that 2 as Nico hits the deck. A difficult round to now win here for Falcons, and a missed shot from MongolZ's not going to help. All on the shoulders of Tessus, and he's clutch required. And he has no legs behind it. Xerxin sees it off in a flawless fashion for MOUZ. It's great to get around like that, but you can argue it might even be too little too late.
No, it is true. It is true. Kind of comical from MongolZ. I think he's like really trying to outdo the previous round. Drops into CT with the AWP. Crazy guy. I love this idea of getting someone in towards CT, but sort of reverse engineering it. It's just unfortunate. One thing I am noticing with those mid smokes, especially when you pull out the one on the left that feels like, you know, sort of a lurking smoke, it is often a ruse, it is often a fake, and I think very quickly teams are figuring that out, that actually not loads of squads like follow up on those smokes and try and charge out mid as a team, which is what they would have you believe. MOUZ gonna need this final round. Get the steam train going into the second half. Certainly possible, right? You never write off the team in the game of Counter-Strike, especially the way that MOUZ played on that first map, if they can tap back into that. If it goes 10-2 here, I think reality starts to set in that a third map will be required.
Yeah, I think you're right. So far, at least the way this first half's playing out, it's 2 very one-sided maps, it feels, to kickstart this series. The flash to send JL in. Tessus doesn't nibble, and he goes in late. JL will fall. Falcons take that numbers advantage, and with a minute to work with, they've got plenty of time to maneuver around the map. But it looks like the bomb will go and join this group towards B. Zelex could be in trouble. The youngster really got to step up. There's the first, but he pulls out Utah, which will cost him a lot of his HP, but he gets both. Nico can't trade. Zelex has done well. Karrigan again trying to lurk his way forward, and he might try and find a gap, but Spinx will hold still for that himself. And MongolZ and Tessus have got to go huge, but Zelex finds this moment. A quad kill from the youngster, and he continues to be such a shining light on this MOUZ side. They only find 3 in the half, but that is a little highlight package from him individually.
Oh, give me the pistol. And I think I'd start to really, really sharpen up here, really get excited for it. It's difficult. It's never a guarantee. Always feels like there's a difficult element to pistols that some teams have in the moment even. You know, it can be fleeting. It can be hard to replicate from one map or one half to another. But maybe, just maybe, MOUZ are able to give us a tail here with a nice individual moment from Zelex to wake him up at the tail end. Could be the spark that lit the flame here, Neo. We'll find out. You know, I think we were really excited to cast this game.
Yeah.
Wanting some competition. So I'm trying to manifest it for everyone out there, of course. I'm sure you're feeling the same way. Counter-Strike wins in a matchup like this more often than not. So we'll see. Break at the half-time, talking it over, getting that pistol set up and ready to go. A lot to play for because, you know, you win the pistol, get the conversion, which feels, you know, rarer than not in this particular matchup, you could be looking at a 9-6.
Yeah.
You really could, you know, which is not a bad scoreline to start from. And then it's a whole fresh game, you know? So this is one part of the game. You want to move into that next part of the game quite cleanly. We'll see. MOUZ not wasting any time. The responsive flash is so effective. And maybe I have doomed them. Not a single kill coming in for MOUZ. Falcons to hit the double digits in mere moments. Xerxan alone, what can he get done? I mean, you need the round. You just need the damn round, and it's not going to happen. Falcons playing them off the park at the moment. Absolutely brilliant. So many of these like refaces, contact flashing plays. Incredible.
What a read as well, right? They go for early long presence, but not showing the presence, and they wait for that long flash to come through, essentially to split up the pack. Half of them are setting up to send the long players out, and it allows those three to swing in. Karrigan does really well. Sent round with that flash from Testes, and it's a brilliant shutdown. Really what you want to see, Falcons, they are reading MOUZ like a book right now. 10-3, a 7-round buffer, and surely a nigh on impossible recovery now for MOUZ. It feels like this map is already being softly conceded. MOUZ just cannot seem to compete here.
Yeah, going for the Hail Mary, the crazy turnaround, right? They've, for the most part, taken an eco, just Torji on that scout. Common little idea for AWPers. Scout here, scout in the next round. But yeah, really not looking good. Fortunately for MOUZ, and we want a competitive game, but also I think they need that competitive game. Falcons now, the momentum has massively swung back in their favor, and you've got the two young guns firing off in such a great way. Clutch rounds, consistency from kyousuke. And I think Nuke will look like more of the same if MOUZ are not careful. Down goes Torji, trying to overwhelm here. It's whoopsie daisy on the flash, a little too contact heavy, I suppose. kyousuke will go down, so going to be slightly annoyed by that one, but still doesn't look like a threatening round just yet.
Eco on the box. The smoke fades as well. Spinx, shoulder spotted. Enough an Eco to work with. Down to 2 now for MOUZ, and this slight investment just really not finding the form that they require. JL's got to do something quite special with this scout. He's spotted, and he does actually get a shot towards Nico before falling. So credit to him for getting away with that. A panicked one that'll net in a kill, but it will not make a difference. A couple of casualties, but it's Falcons so close to the finish line now, only 2 away. And this buy is for all the marbles for MOUZ. All chips to the middle of the felt to try and save face here on a Dust2 that's never got going. And the runner form required for this to even be remotely competitive feels like it will just be too much of an ask for us from this MOUZ side. They've never got going, and that could and potentially even should be the case for Dust2.
Early utility out. It reads very similar to a Falcons round here. As MOUZ also taking it quite slowly. They look to move up short, however, not trying to get, you know, all the players in completely different spots and just keep pressuring and pressuring all angles of the map. Attempt at the nade, it's a nice idea. They've just gotten beyond that area though. So these nades not quite landing. Leaning more towards the B side of things as well here, Falcons. Relatively well-timed smoke. MOUZ not really being thwarted by the idea. Keep it simple here. We've got a couple smokes left. They're actually maybe looking to maybe burst through this smoke here, which could get very, very messy. I think they'll get a bomb plant, but it's all about holding on to the site.
Xerxan drops down. Only back sight as well to deny that short plant. At least 4 now. They've got time to work with here. 40 seconds on the clock. Molly will fade momentarily. How do Falcons want to play this? Very slow as they allow for that plant. They're not even going to contest this. It's a couple of flashes, 1 molly for Falcons to work with, and in they come. Nico will get 1. JL, Zelix, and Spinx all combined in quick succession. Before you know it, NiKo and Tessus have to make that call. Tail between their legs, they'll get out of there. So MOUZ up to a fourth there. Much needed gun round on this T side will finally come through successfully. Tessus trying to keep this expensive, but he won't be able to. At least for now, MOUZ lives to see another day, but again, it's still such a mountain to climb.
Yeah, I mean, they would have, in theory, hit the 9-6 if they'd won that pistol. And also just stopping Falcons from winning any rounds on the CT side. That can often be a pretty scary prospect, pretty scary position to be in. But yeah, it's just going to be so tough, isn't it? They have to keep this really clean for quite a while. And we've not necessarily seen that from either losing side in this series just yet. So consolation rounds building up some precedent for map number 3 at the moment. They, of course, with that eco especially, rather than going for force after force, are believing in themselves that the comeback is possible, and it certainly is. Has the tournament traded that in, you know, with the PVISION MongolZ game. Crazy comeback there.
Very true.
But we'll find out, I suppose. MOUZ hoping that there's a little tiny bit of magic still left.
This Falcons reinvest. Carrigan and Tessus just wielding 5-7s. Can still be scary in the right positions. Tessus playing up close towards B. The flash to send through Zelex. NiKo resides on the other side of this smoke. Waiting game, though, as he looks to try and isolate a fight here. And Zelex is just going to try and be a bit of an insurance policy to catch players in transition. You can see the way that, at least for now, Falcons are playing very spaced out, very easy to isolate. So a lot of owners on their individuals just to win their 50s. And there we go, NiKo for the first and the second. Brilliant work from him. Those two are massively important, but Xerxes and Torzio combine well. They bring the numbers back to a 3-on-3, and the 5-7 at range just can't find its form. But the bomb is stuck in Xbox. It's not being held. They're actually going to re-aggress. And kyousuke given an opportunity at a double here. Bombs recovered. Spinx turns, and the 180 gets a kill back in response. And now Tessa's in a 1 versus 1. But where is Xerxes? Look at the time as well. 17 seconds to work with here. He stepped. And I think he knows about this with this bomb. Not able to be picked up. It's about the Angel. And Tessus will give it to him. Xerxes wins by fortune of the frag. And it keeps MOUZ breathing again. But my God, is that close.
Crazy stuff. MOUZ with a hope and a prayer. And it works for now. How many more of those are they going to have left in the tank, though? That wasn't even that strong of a buy for Team Falcons. Maybe that opens them up to some freedom, a license to do what they want. But we're going to find out here. MOUZ starting to slowly build up speed, but NiKo wants this one. He will not go quietly. He will not let you come back into this game for any more than feels necessary. They will burst out on towards B and should be able to get this one done. My goodness, NiKo on the Deagle always makes you a little fearsome. This, of course, I think is how he garnered a lot of his fan base in the early days.
Torzi in the back line, just holding in case anybody tries to stick around, try and scoop up an upgrade. Looks like it should be easy here, though. With Torzi's position, they've got a safe passage to exit cleanly. MongolZ trying to keep pressure on, but we MOUZ up to a 6th. Still is a long road to recovery, but 3 on the bounce for MOUZ. It's just good to see. We haven't even seen them. This is the first time we've got 3 in a row from this side in this map, so it starts to try and give you a bit of belief. MongolZ will end up losing out at range to the AWP, as expected. But an AK saved. It's a nice little silver lining to have heading up in towards this next round. The buy alongside it, MongolZ gets his AWP back out as well. 3 in a row here. From MOUZ is just starting to entertain the idea of the recovery. Get in the region of sort of 11 to 9, and then I can definitely accept it with open arms. kyousuke, 105 ADR for him. Having a whale of a time, 18 and 9. They spread a little bit more evenly across MOUZ. They are slowly ramping up. And even if this map is to be a loss, if they can get sort of a bit of a save face on
Yeah, of
Dust2,
course, yeah.
a cosmetic comeback, as we like to call it, I think it really does just still reassure them heading in towards Nuke that they do have a chance. It was kind of the worst thing of if they had come in towards Dust2 and just got battered, you can mentally go into your own a little bit and start to sit in this rotter form.
Yeah, we'll see. He's a very, very good point, though. Something that you keep an eye on. kyousuke towards the top end. Karrigan and Tessis quieter. The Tessis stats overall are not that bad, but how does it go on the CT side? The chain only as strong as its weakest link. See if they can abuse that weak link. MOUZ certainly looking more confident, slightly faster, going for their early bits of control. They will work it towards short. Just the one smoke. Doesn't dip down. Lurking smoke towards B. What are they going for? I mean, I couldn't necessarily tell you. The bomb is so far away from the action at the moment. It looks like it will be, again, another short move and perhaps all 5 in towards short as well. So
I think you're right.
lacking a lurking presence.
It's a risky play to go for all 5, just not having any kind of contingency plan. Not a player coming through CT or nobody playing out towards long. Right utility in the right places, they could be shut down here. Monacy can be tested. Xerxin, the drop down from him on the edge of this smoke, and a tag through the wall, but Xerxin, full blind, gets his kill. Karrigan, Tessis combine well to try and shut down the A move, and the AWP cannot ring off true as JL goes back to back to give them A. For Karrigan and kyousuke, it might even be a soft save call if they can't find a kill in the next 5 seconds.
Oh, they feel confident here. Karrigan in a good spot. It does make sense when he goes down to the AWP. That will, with the smoke, indeed be the save. You know, kyousuke also sticking around. Try and find a kill, which again, to me, when you're fighting off against the comeback, not a great sign. I think you have to respect that this is possible. You know, Karrigan is in a decent spot, but I think you just give it. You just have to really, really play harsh, you know, and take that save. It potentially could have facilitated the buy into this next round. Lost bonus starting to stack up. They might still give it a look. I don't know. I don't think so. However, when you've got Karrigan in there, 2 drops, right? It'd be 1 player on a slightly weaker weapon, or at the very least, even a half buy around it. You know, I think Karrigan has to save there, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think Karrigan saving probably would have been allowed them to kind of buy back in around this AK. Half buying is what they're going for. Monacy on the scout. No armor as well, so glass cannon scout for him. Upgraded pistols. Around that save, AK-47. So MOUZ should be finding an 8th. We are actually starting to get a bit of a game of this.
Close, but not quite the tag. Telex on this Mac 10. Got to be careful, right? These are the rounds where you can often make the mistakes against something that's a little weirder, the low bar. You don't quite know what to expect. Have they invested? Haven't they invested? Tough to say, but yeah, got to be very, very careful with how they play this one. Flash comes in. Probably another one with Zelex's name on it. Nade, minimal.
Too shallow.
Orgy will go down, though.
No way.
This is a bit problematic. I'm not sure if MONiC even saw him. He must have done it. It was top mid, so right on the top of the smoke. Probably the flash not quite good enough, but they will bail away. Minute left on the clock. It looks really quite nervy here from MOUZ. They look to try and return the frag, but it's not quite there. kyousuke with the AK pushes in to find another. And Falcons have been saving bits and pieces. Not a lot of short presence usually. They abused that in this round. Really well found opening double kill.
And now on top of this as well, not only have they got the pressures of the numbers disadvantage, they've got the pressure of the clock. There's sub 40 seconds to work with. And Spinx starting to try and make his move. The molly will force him out. He's 1 point of HP, and Nico's going to find a 1D. Holding down MOUZ1, and he will get away with one as Zelex will fall. And it's all on the shoulders of JL. On trial and needs to prove why he's worth that contract. 1 versus 4, he's looking for the ace clutch. We've already won netted, but he tagged through that smoke as well. The bomb down's good, but it just misses the mark, and NiKo will see it off. What a round for Falcons to scalp away. It felt like they had no chance to turn that one into a 12, and somehow they do. Everything just nets itself perfectly. Break on the smoke, and opener by the scout. The AK comes true, and NiKo again making that Deagle sing. Oh, MOUZ, what a round to let slip. It was 4 in a row, and that one, it felt like the easiest one of all of them.
Yeah, of course.
It's the worst one to lose as well.
Yeah. The slow motion moment in the movie, you know, and you fumble the ball just as you're about to score the touchdown. Ah, man. MOUZ will be absolutely kicking themselves. And you know what's going to happen here? They're going to find, like, maybe up to 10 and then end up slipping again. So, yeah, really, really heartbreaking stuff. At what could have been a monumental comeback. The pistol goes against them, and that round goes against them. Other than that, it's been pretty good. So when the guns are in play, they are on top.
Who knows though, right? I feel like mentally you can be put into a really weird spot by losing a round like that, and it's a great move by MongolZ. We have the X-ray, and I barely saw him.
Yeah, that's crazy. That really is. And again, a dirty angle. And that MongolZ saves for the rainier days.
Yeah, it's on TYLOO, right? Who actually felt like he's having a little bit more of that impact. He's quite a big element for MOUZ in the supporting department too. So dropping him early is pretty huge. And just keep your eyes trained on this for MOUZ. It's only JL who has actually a proper full belt of util, so they have about just enough util for one execute, and it doesn't help when Spinx now falls.
Yeah, not looking good. Might just be curtains here. JL with the trade up on that recovered orb at the very least. They do have some mid-presence, of course. Zertian going to be left low. There's a flank coming in from behind. Keep it cool, and Carrigan will indeed get it done. It's all going to be onto JL once again. Couldn't find it in the previous round. Misses the shot. And Falcons will, as predicted, as promised, take us to a third map here. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And again, just looking so damn good. There's a mini comeback. Unfortunately for MOUZ, they win the hard ones. They couldn't win the easy ones.
Yeah, exactly that. And if anything, that's more killer, right? So really, really good recovery. And now we go towards this map number 3, which I'm very excited for. And I'm very excited for the boys on the desk to break that one down. Or back on, who are all starting to come alive as well. I think MongolZ in particular, if he can really find a bit of form and keep Torji at bay, this now becomes quite spicy. But as you can see, it looks like we are ready to get this map number 3, this decider, essentially a best-of-1 brawl now on Nuke to find out who takes this semi-final. We are so excited to get this Nuke underway, and it looks like it will be a CT side start for Falcons. They get that favorable start in this one. MOUZ on that T side. We need some immediate success from them. Just brush off that Nuke.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, the one-map shootout is very much the mindset that they have to bring into this one. It starts off very aggressive with the door nade coming round, and they will follow it up with a quick move out on towards the site itself. It's even so far, it's Spinx in the back of the head to take down Tessis, though. A good find from him. That should allow the bomb to go down. NiKo moving up the vent quite quickly here. He's got to check all these angles. He nearly makes it out, but not quite. kyousuke the only one left, and they're taking their time, not rushing the bomb plant necessarily.
It's a good position, though. He's actually kind of got a little bit of a gap for them to work with. They're going to go double-checking, but they're still expecting this flank to be a little later on. Depending on his timing, he could actually isolate a couple of fights here. Being held, he might have just been spotted. Now he has, and now the flank coming through lobby becomes all the more stronger. It's a one-for-one trade. TYLOO will see it off. And MOUZ start well. And I actually got to say, I love that freeze call that they make as well. They take the numbers advantage. They know he could be anywhere, but when NiKo falls, rather than just sticking to the plant and playing that post plant, they just freeze it and know that they've got so much time to work with. They just don't need to rush.
Yeah, I think so. And it is good to see, again, able to keep their cool after what felt like a pretty panicked start to Dust2 in particular. But we'll find out here. I mean, Nuke is a great one, I think, to end the series off on as well.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, can be quite a calm map until you, as a T-side, decide to change things up. Only the one player outside, everybody else chilling in lobby for the moment.
NiKo's Deagle's looking very good in towards Dust2. It's a little bit of a worry to test it. Tag on towards Alex. It's MongolZ as well. Then at range with that scout. the old tag and bag strategy of the pistols and the scout. We'll find the first, but this looks like it's a mid-round move to Ram.
Yeah, lovely from the scout to just keep things changing. Oh, he's going to get 2 for 1 there, man. So much damage done. He will eventually go down. kyousuke has to capitalize here. Fortunately, can't initially, but able to stay alive and drop back. They've bolstered up the B-bomb site. And a really damaged MOUZ looking for a different avenue of attack in the 4 versus 4. Carrigan going to be left low and finished off himself, but it draws them in towards Tessus. He does well for 1. He needs another one from here. He's going to get it as well. We are certainly back on. JL takes him with the wings, but still you have Spinx on low HP. He's, grabbed a pause. JL goes for the open plant, and Spinx was not holding for it. Slight miscommunication maybe between the two of them has allowed NiKo to isolate this down. Spinx on 3 HP. It's just 1 bullet required. Spinx has to pick up this bomb. NiKo will allow him that at the very least. Oh, the headshot lands. NiKo takes him down, and Falcons win the force buy once again against all the odds, and it is immediately brought back down to earth for MOUZ.
The prophecy has come true. What did I forewarn? NiKo and a Deagle. Look good on Dust2. Little scary. There it is again, though. What a round from Falcons. They play that so confident, which is honestly one of these things that we get so often. When you're in towards these sort of force buy, half buy rounds, we see one or two things. Either you play just the default setup on the CT side, which is so easy to overwhelm, or you play so scared because you know you don't have the advantage in firepower. Falcons approach that like it's a 4-buy round, and they do so well. They make life so difficult for MOUZ. They're going to pull out a force buy of their own. Carrigan spamming the smoke will find Yuanshen to kickstart proceedings, who now has the call from the grave in this really quite important response required from this T side. Honestly going to be tagged. He'll respond with a nade, but he catches Zelex in transition, just running out of ammo at that key moment, but NiKo makes his move from secret. And the force buy back by the T side is being put to bed pretty damn simply here. Torzi might get a chance at 1. But he'll lose his head. 50 cal to the cranium will see him off. And NiKo's got the read here of Spinx in towards Secret. What a round from him. 3 to his name. He is on red-hot form to start Nuke, and that's exactly what we want.
Yeah, I mean, a great hand-in-hand round there from NiKo and MOUZ. Falcons might just be able to start steamrolling ahead. MOUZ, you know, you try and build up a false sense of hope. You know, you win the pistol and you're like, okay, here we go. We can really start to leave a mark in the early stage, and you just immediately lose that force buy. It's so tough. And it's JL as well in that round, man. The open plan. Real miscommunication cost them. And then Falcons looking good in that next round. Should be able to win this one out as well. So going to put themselves in pole position. Nice gap between them and MOUZ to start off this CT campaign.
Complete throwaway round here for MOUZ. Just, honestly, an opportunity to have a little bit of a talk. Get some ideas rocking and rolling across the side of what we want to do back in towards our reinvest in round number 5. The existence timeout, as we like to call it. But you'd like a plant here just to bolster up the investment in towards the next round, shore up the util more than anything. Should be a simple one. They're taking it very slow, just incrementally gaining space towards outside. It's all part of the plan, so it gives them time to converse. Also, maybe a chance for NiKo and MONOZ to farm a little bit of cash here.
Quite slow going, considering it is just Glocks. I think they're really going to try and brute force the bomb inside, but unfortunately it gets spilled. They have to backtrack, and nothing gets going. And the inevitable happens, of course, not even a single kill for them. So Falcons with a big balloon of money now, swelling those coffers, as MOUZ need to answer back. Otherwise, this could begin another very one-sided affair for the Falcons.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think there's a real risk of this starting the exact same way Dust2 does, and we get to the exact same narrative of Dust2 of no matter what you do here, it's too little too late. Like, your road to recovery is so long that it just feels now and impossible. MOUZ have got to have some stability on this T side. We always talk about it, the foundations required for them moving into the more favorable CT side. Sure, we expect more from MOUZ on that CT, naturally being that it is Nuke. but they've got to have a bare minimum of 4 rounds. 5 is where we start to feel like this is a nice enough half to work with. This gun round is ultimately very, very important. MOUZ, you lose this, you're in a little bit of trouble early doors, and that's where I would be taking a timeout.
Yeah, again, starting very, very slowly. The outside executes, but they're lacking some pace here. So I hope this round works for them. Otherwise, the next assumption is that they try and pick up the pace. Falcons will be ready for that. Outside executes once again. Spinx tries to make a solo play. He'd been spotted. He was getting spammed down. 2 players on him. Flames in the way. But kyousuke nets 2 somehow. A third. Oh, man! kyousuke! Where has that come from?
Oh, that's miraculous from Maxim, man. What a round by him. The molly in front of Secret is the perfect little cover for him to dip and dive. Dodge the bullets incoming from back red. He does so well to isolate. What a round by him. And what a time for Falcons to add another to the board and continue making this worse and worse for MOUZ to start off this decider. And a change-up. And the interesting thing as well is that every single round so far, bar the pistol, Falcons have played through Secret. Both times it's been NiKo, so it should be something that MOUZ are expecting. And still, they overlook that position. They've got to have eyes trained on it, at least one person, keeping a bit of an eye on this. Leave someone up towards top silo. It's a very favorable fight there for that silo player, but it just keeps happening now. And outside control, Yard is imperative on this C side, and MOUZ are getting absolutely no fortune in those fights. Falcons look excellent, they really do, and maybe it might be a case that we look back at this series and just say, map 1, they were still a little bit half asleep, but they've really woken up. That shock to the system and a bit of a kick up the arse with how flat Mirage was. They are back. And MOUZ look like they're in real trouble.
Yeah, it's just so tough. You win the pistol, you feel like you're going to reset things and it's a different map and it's not more of the same. Then you lose the force buy, then you just lost out to that at your first opportunity to answer back for the lost force buy. Let that one sink in. kyousuke down here looking for a little bit more of the same. Drawing them in. Will go down this time around, but he's bought enough time for the teammates to rotate in. Torji does well.
Sure.
One more and we might just believe. But there's Carrigan at the back of the site and he ultimately has the bomb in his sights. Just, you know, half an eye on and make sure it's still there. There's nothing funky going on. So it should be all good from here. It depends on Torji really if he can just defy those odds. Looks off the angle at the worst time and it will be Zelex. Yes, he has an M4, but he doesn't have the armor to speak of. They know about him. Clean find there on Samunisi. Surely goes down to Carrigan, you would say. And indeed, he gets some bullets off, to be fair.
Gotta say, if he had armor,
yeah, for sure.
that could have been kind of interesting. The crowd loving it, though.
Yeah,
Carrigan will close. 7-2.
Ambulances.
Start for him. NiKo 6-1. Everybody having their moments on Falcons thus far, who 5-1, it's 5 on the bounce, and just shows the importance of that recovery in the force buy in round number 2. Just how much of a springboard it can be to kickstart a half. And the real value that allows you to snowball. MOUZ back into that reinvestment. Their chances of actually having a successful T-side are dwindling rapidly.
Yeah. Looking like a copy and paste performance of map number 2 if things do not get off the ground here for MOUZ.
I think at this point, just 4 rounds. That's all I'm asking from MOUZ.
Yep.
4 rounds, and then of course there's a bit of a checklist that you've got to find in towards that second half. We're talking like pistol force buy, competitive first gun round, but just 4 rounds, just to give us something to sink our teeth into.
It's the pace again for me, though. You know what I mean? I think they had to really set something a bit faster in that first rifle round while you're behind.
It feels scared.
They do. They try and get a player going, though. Oh, my goodness. Flashes all over the place. There will be a small trade, but it's ultimately a 2-4-1. NiKo, the greedy move, might just have bought the save for Falcons. So very close, right? Spinx and Torji are very, very low in all fairness. Wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute.
We're tempted.
They
This
are
is
really
confirmed
quite
damage.
low here. I think certainly on one player they will know about it. Is there an automatic weapon that they can change up to? I think no is going to be the answer, unfortunately. So just looking to land the one shot, one kill.
What a kit.
They will indeed give this a good go. MongolZ with that kit. They've got to get him on the bomb in, well, right now.
Hang on.
USP out, he taps on. That might just be enough though. Torji able to take him off. There's not enough time in the end. Falcons, I will give it to them. They've got plenty of cash. Everybody does go down, but it's big damage in the end onto MOUZ, where it was looking like quite a hefty survival for them. Would have been great. Start focusing on the future. But no, Falcons are ever present in these rounds.
And that's the thing. Yes, you lose the round, but you can actually sort of take a real sort of moral victory away from that for the Falcons. You're really keeping that T-side economy at bay. You know that they're not going to have a lot left in the reserves as they have to so heavily reinvest in towards this round. You can even see the effects of it. Double Galil that comes through for Spinx insertion. JL's rocking the Mac 10. And Falcons, as you kind of touched on, there's so much money in the back pocket. You may as well just try and make it expensive. It initially started as just proactive exits, but then it did turn into an attempt. And maybe a second kit down, it could have been something to work with, but nonetheless, MOUZ, you get a second, sure, but it's far from a confidence booster.
The Spinx and Torzi show at the moment as well over on the MOUZ side of things, so difficult to replicate rounds when you only have two guys to rely on. We'll see if they stay towards the top end of the scoreboard. It might be a different story. Zelix just about able to dodge the bullet. They know about MongolZ now. Smoke starting to go down, and it's far too easy. Zelix, I think, nervous there, caught out in the open. They're charging through a smoke here. No chance. Tessa's prepared. And it will be down to the two-man army, I suppose. Maybe they can get something going here, but nobody to trade off, nobody to work around. Will make it much, much harder. Torji alone, and probably looking for a tacit save here as he slowly backs away, hoping not to be spotted.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be given that luxury. But a long 30 seconds for him to save. He falls back over towards T-spawn and an instant response from Falcons, but it's not even just the fact that it is the response, it's the fact that it's flawless. A real statement by them. MOUZ, man, this side are looking lackluster here on Nuke. When it mattered most. Sure, Dust2 always felt like a punish pick, but this one on paper didn't really feel that bad. It felt like it had, at least, you know, piqued the interest a little bit for us. Could be a competitive map, but it's still just not feeling like it. Falcons look so comfortable, so clean. And extend that lead to 4 once again. The unfortunate thing for MOUZ is they just can't really buy back in around this, so get 6, and Falcons should be taking a lead with a 7, basically for free here in round number 9.
Yeah, I mean, all signs are pointing towards Falcons, really. Like, you win the one round on the MOUZ side. Not only do you lose the follow-up, which is a bad sign, it's also like the call. What is that, really? There's no substance to it. One guy getting really questionably caught outside, then you still burst out Hut through a smoke. Like, it's not good. I think it's putting it lightly, to be honest with you.
That's the kind way of putting it.
Yeah, MOUZ severely stuck for ideas. They'll be on the half here, going to eat a nade to kick this one off as well. So it's really quite difficult. They are just being kept under the cosh at all times. Bauer Falcons hovering around, looking for the killing blow time after time. And they will indeed get it time after time. Tessus is the master of Hut, able to readjust so well in a lot of these rounds.
Both spotted as well.
Yeah, it's over here. 7th is flawless for Falcons. And this map just might continue to go only one way.
Yeah, this is getting worse and worse for MOUZ now. Falcons are running away with this CT side. And yes, it's a CT-sided map, but my God, MOUZ looks so uncompetitive at the moment. They are barely contesting in a lot of these rounds. This is getting dicey. The rebuy back in. So Torji is going to be wielding a Galil as well. Not even the full rifles across the board, and util belts aren't flushed out either. And that's by virtue of the lack of plant. It's just something MOUZ can't even seem to get right yet, right? It's step 1 of get that bomb down. That's eluding them in a lot of these rounds because Falcons are winning it by sheer firepower.
Outside smokes here, so MOUZ going back to, you know, the old classic here on Nuke. Quite wide as well, wait for the break. Don't rush things, but what is the plan off the back of these? Are they going down? Are they waiting for a fight to come their way? Hard to say at this point. Smokes will start going down. There's actually no hard eyeball on it. Falcons choosing instead to have a player watching in the halls, at least for information, if not some kills. NiKo nice and confident, takes one, backs off, calls for some support, which he will get, but the support unfortunately falls quite quickly. Meanwhile, you've got to get through kyousuke here on the ramp, and he has been looking absolutely unstoppable alongside MongolZ, alongside Tessis. The three of them, plus a bit of Carrigan, have been really difficult to break through. Single door into a two-man setup, it just does not look doable for MOUZ. Crazy shot's going to be needed here. I think they know it.
Yeah.
You know, it's really unconfident.
They really don't want to make this wrong step because they just can't afford to, is the real issue. And there it is, but it doesn't kill JL. And MongolZ will get out in front of the molly. He'll reposition straight into Yuanshen. He does get a kill before he hits the deck. Bomb will go down as well, 2 versus 2, but the HP is so low. And yes, the numbers get punched in, but it's all on the shoulders of Yuanshen. And we need something miraculous from the man in charge of this side. The captain needs to step up, and he's playing at range. He's expecting the fight to come to him. First attempt, a missed shot, a known quantity now as well. Falcons do at least need to probably tap this bomb just to try and bait out a fight. Tessa's going to play up close here, a swing and a find. And Yuanshen just cannot deliver. Only got 1 kill in this half thus far in that round. And he needed a 3K, and it just feels like his form's fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited for him to do it, right? The first kill of the game for him, and then get the big clutch. Would have been a nice little storyline, but unfortunately not to be. Falcons, the antagonist of this Cinderella story. I don't think it's going to get going. A very short one, perhaps, for MOUZ if this continues. Timeout to come through. The last chance at a serviceable recovery. But it could be another very scary affair. Double digits on the cards for the Falcons if it keeps happening like this.
Yeah, vibes are so good at the moment. Tessis getting a lot of plaudits there from Zonic, and deservedly so. Continues to just be this Mr. Reliable that we've often spoke about, but he's looking so good. 12 and 4, unbelievably sharp. 8 rounds already for Falcons. MOUZ need the final 2 of this half to have any chance, in my eyes, of fighting here on Nuke and in this series. Or is it going to be a case of them just falling flat at that final hurdle? An alternate round of play here on this MOUZ side. We really need the second win nice and early. Oh, how does Zenit get away with that? The trade is instant, and Carrigan doubles it up. And Tessis will make his move. He gets one, but a quick trade from Torzi, who falls away.
Man, the A defense is just so good. kyousuke as well has been a real boon individually, just been left by himself, but able to deliver and deliver and deliver and read the situations well enough. But the A defense, yeah, absolutely impenetrable. And I think MOUZ love it as an option to move fast and burst out hut, different variations on it, pushing smokes at the same time, but it doesn't matter. It's absolutely brilliant from Carrigan in particular.
Yeah.
Who, of course, has had some rougher moments in the series, and even mechanically on Dust2, I just saw him looking really shaky with the aim and things like this, but he feels comfortable on Nuke, that is for damn sure.
Well, round number 12 here. Is there any life left in this MOUZ side? Alex makes a move. He'll catch one here, and he does. Honestly, to fall. Nice little push, which actually pays off. JL will get one of his own. The flash and the nade behind it as well. It's kind of spicy. Tessis and Carrigan, though, in their combination play, Instead, Yuanshen and Zelix with it all to do. Bomb can be recovered. This is the first step, but the numbers don't favor them.
Yuanshen holding the line. Big finds, oh, another one as well. Somehow has pulled this together. They still have to retrieve that bomb, and they've got to get through Nico. Got to get through Nico. Not an easy thing to do. Zelix gonna walk into his crosshair, and it's low HP for Yuanshen. He gets the nade right, unfortunately not quite, but it will reveal the location now of Yuanshen into the 1 versus 1. 30 seconds left. How does Nico want to play this? Does he give it? Does he play confident? He is feeling himself right now. He has lost track of Yuanshen ever so slightly, who takes the elevation, waiting for him to take the fight to Nico, but unfortunately Nico is far too quick. The headshot's landing, makes it look easy, and he is calm as ever. The reaction as well is so simple. Looking to close this one out in quick fashion, and Nico gonna help the Falcons to do it.
Yeah, cool as a cucumber from the vet. What a time to step up. And it just adds salt in the wound for MOUZ. Finally an opportunity to salvage a round and make something of this C-side. And a clutch like that, and what a shot it is as well. A stormer of a first half from Falcons. 10-2. And at a scoreline like this, it just feels like, unfortunately, it will be a no contest from MOUZ. Even if you get a pistol, the force buy, the first couple of gun rounds, the road to recovery is still awful. So many things have got to go wrong for Falcons for you to even have a slim chance of making this stick. I think it's safe to say by our reactions that we don't believe in it. Falcons look way on track to closing this out so cleanly and setting themselves up in towards that final with everybody having eyes on them to lift that trophy.
Yeah, we will find out here if things are set to continue. Falcons in the perfect spot. What can you do from here? MOUZ tried, you know, Hail Mary comeback in the previous time. Can they get it done here on Nuke? Maybe, but I don't know. I've tried to lean their way a couple times, build up the narrative, and they're losing me as this series goes on. Spinx will find a first head. JL looking for one of his own, not quite able to find it, but he's creating the space. He's distracting away the rest of the team, chiming in nicely. It's all down to Tessus. Surely nothing happening for him here. A couple kills on the cards for sure, but only one in the end. So, first step for MOUZ. Often the hardest.
Yeah. Golf claps from the crowd as well.
Yes,
just,
of course.
you know, fair enough.
Fair enough.
We'll give you one or two, but fan favorite sides still look playing in charge. The one thing that has looked good for Falcons is the force buys, but I don't think you can really go for one here. I don't think it's worthwhile. I know you've got the rounds to work with where you can take the risk, but I just think take an eco here, get the guns out as early as possible, and that's exactly what they're going to do. It's a smart call. Carragher's got one flash and a smoke for Tessus as well, to maybe try and give them a plant. No real value in going for the force here. Yes, the upgraded pistols have looked very good on Falcons in these force buys. I think as soon as the AKs come back into play, it might just be more of the same as what we saw in towards that CT side. Zelix is up on high. Spinx also getting an attempt, but it's Zelix who does well. 4K shutdown from the heavens. Of course, against a low buy, but you take them all the same. As MOUZ lock in their 4th round. Long way to go, but these are the right steps.
Show me the money. Slow build-up, just grinding out these rounds. Certainly going to be tough. And this is where I want to see the Falcons. MOUZ lacking a bit of T-side identity. I think Falcons, with all the rounds in play, get something creative going from the get-go. Don't just give me like that simple outside execute and roll things up. They do have a lot of presence outside, so maybe it is going to be that. They're really lacking in the utility here, though, as they've opted to go heavy on the AKs. And unfortunately, it is going to be the outside execute. So we'll see, we'll see.
I can kind of respect it, though.
Too crazy. I suppose it's the other side of the same coin.
Yeah, when Falcons are so sharp, like, you want to get these premium guns on deck. Yuanshen, I highlighted him in the bit of the pre-map, just saying keep an eye on him. His yard presence is normally super strong, especially when he was not calling on this side. very, very valuable. Moving out in front of that smoke is risky. And now he can make his presence known. Zelex 2 spam through the smoke. Yuanshen moves up from secret. And this round's all but a write-off. The 2 remaining Karrigan and a half-dead kyousuke. There is no chance. It will get us consolation.
I don't know. I mean, it's your moment to set the tone, and now the tone just kind of stinks, really. I think this is very doable for MOUZ. I think they are capable of digging deep, and the CT side of Nuke is a great place to do it. You know, if a T side struggles, I think they're really going to find it hard to figure out what's going wrong. There's plenty of, you know, extracurricular resources with the timeouts and whatnot, but that's not a great way to start it in my mind. You're going to go for the lower buy here as well. Bits of expenditure. Again, for the mental, sometimes it is good to just focus on the rifle rounds if this doesn't work out for them either. And then the next rifle round goes south. All of a sudden, you know, you're looking at what would potentially be like 10-8.
Yeah.
In theory, if everything goes right for MOUZ. So we'll find out, though. Yuanshen is caught off, expecting to maybe hear that one. And he doesn't, so yeah, that is an early kill that goes against him. An M4 retrieved as well. Torji doing what he can to recover things. kyousuke is low. The nade will find him perfectly.
Touchdown.
Yeah, so a very, very nice recovery from Torji to perhaps keep MOUZ in this round now.
Yeah, it was looking a little precarious for half a second. Oh, Tesses, drive by Tech9. And actually, they just get around that corner.
Really great.
So Zelex can't trade. 3 versus 3 with a minute on the clock. They've got time to try and isolate things here.
Yeah, and
look at this move. NiKo, he should have JL dead to rights, surely. As long as m0NESY and Tesses don't go early, let NiKo get this information, which he should get in a second, and he does. The Deagle rings off true, and now the B side is open. They can get down, but the bomb still got across, and Tesses' Tech9 gets a second. It's all on this youngster, the academy graduate who's got to step up on this big stage. And now his presence known as well. How does he go about this? Does he even go about this as well? Surely you got to give it a look in, but with no kit and only a flash, it feels next to impossible in a 1 versus 3 for the youngster. And this crossfire is absolutely immaculate, impenetrable. There is no way he can get in towards this B side. This round, surely, is all but a write-off. He's trying desperately to isolate, but time is ticking. No kit. He's got to go, and he can hear these steps. It won't make a difference. The round is done. At this point, it's about damage control, and he only gets 1 for it. What a round for Falcons to scalp away, and NiKo's flank is superb.
Yeah, I'd like to see where it came from, to be honest. He's really slipped through those cracks. Did he get down secret? I think he just got down secret and nobody was paying attention to him. You know, the pistol round, not expecting. It's not communicated across that, yeah, I didn't have full eyes on. Someone could have made it down.
Yeah.
We should account for that. And it's the same story as Dust2. MOUZ on the comeback train. Sights set on, actually closing that gap pretty well. And they let the easy one slip through their fingers. So I think if that's going to happen a couple times, maybe you shouldn't be making the final.
2 more rounds is all that Falcons require. And this is looking very akin to what we got on Dust2. Where it's just by virtue of that strong first half lead, that even if it isn't the cleanest, Falcons can still just stumble over the line. Pretty slow roll here, though, yeah.
Got to figure this out. Outside execute again, but not going to be followed up upon by Falcons. They want to hammer this one home. They also recognize they've been gifted around from the powers that be. Torji not blinded up. It's a nice shot. Able to drop back. Gets the smoke down. Some weird gravity effect. Makes it look a bit funny, but ultimately he gets one and he backs off.
30 seconds. Falcons really do need somebody to step up to the plate here. Need a bit of a home run hero. kyousuke's going to make his move. Spinx will fall. It now gets interesting, but Gary just overlooks as Yuanshen gets a kill back in response so nicely. And they're just going to make a late dive towards the A site and hope for the best. But a molly down at NiKo's feet is going to make life difficult. Bomb planted by MongolZ. But numbers favor MOUZ on this retake.
Yeah, I mean, what's happened here? We've got an over-rotation ultimately. The numbers are going to look so good. kyousuke incredibly low. It's on to NiKo to do a lot of the work here. And he's looking for something. It's the business end of an A1S, unfortunately. And kyousuke also going to fall. And again, it just fills you with dread, doesn't it? MOUZ, a really great rifle round to respond. But it's these silly little drops that are costing them across the course of the series. Bomb plan for Falcons, reinvestment, possible if they want to, and I think they will. MongolZ can afford to go for the AWP. And then everybody else somewhere down the middle, including NiKo with a lot of cash, able to get that AK out. So not a bad buy, but yeah, MOUZ look good when it comes to these gun rounds. That was super dominant.
But it might still just be one of those cases where, again, for Falcons, it's like just stumbling over the line. That might be all that's really required here.
Same as Dust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well read, well done. It really felt for Falcons in that round. Call out a spawn, falls kind of flat. And then the mid round just had no real idea behind it. It was very hopeful based on where they find space. Speaking of, MongolZ will get some of his own. Yuanshen caught just at the top end of that smoke. An elevated angle, worth its weight in gold, as Falcons take the numbers advantage.
Not again. Not again. That'll be in the back of Yuanshen's mind here. IGL, who often leads from the front, now having to lead from the grave.
Yeah, and having a slow game as well.
Not great for MOUZ, someone that they potentially look towards and might have been part of, you know, if not spearheading the moves that they've made. Spinx flashed off, needs to find a couple here from Unbreakable. Called it for a reason. Fighting off against NiKo, who's looked so damn good all map long, and he will keep up that trend. However, there's a couple of kills that do come back in. Gaps forming in the Falcons' attack, and they are indeed exploited for now.
He's hit that bomb as well. Thankfully, is recoverable inside of that smoke. 20 seconds, though. We've got to go. It's going to be a late move towards A. As MongolZ comes through from heaven. Smoke fading and TYLOO delivering. That is the round. All but done now. Sure, a consolation kill for MongolZ, but JL making sure that MOUZ find another. It's a 4-round game here. And this now really starts to pique my interest. There is something brewing here from MOUZ. And Falcons going to call for their first timeout. And I think this is very needed. Zonic needs to try and steady this. This is a ship taking on a lot of water.
Yeah.
And if they don't plug these gaps, they're going to sink.
Well, I mean, this is one of the things, right? You kind of have a decision, to carry your analogy. It's like, do you focus on plugging the holes, or do you kind of focus on moving as fast as possible,
getting to shore
and whatnot, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think that they have gone for the latter. There was maybe, and perhaps why you take a timeout here, small argument to be made that you go for another half buy, because you are going to be lacking an AWP, you are going to be lacking some utility. You've got Carrigan on the Galil, maybe got another player joining him on that potentially. They're, you know, really talking things over here in terms of how they want to play it and what they want to go for. So decisions to be made, and it could be life or death here for Falcons if they get this wrong. One more buy available after this, you would say, before things get evened up, and if not, letting the lead slip into the hands of MOUZ. So it's doable, but again, MOUZ have let us down. When they've been under pressure, when we've given them that narrative, they have capitulated. They have crumbled out of nowhere. They have to be careful to keep the morale high here. Keep things going. TYLOO nearly caught off, but kyousuke oversteps. Yuanshen will punish him.
Yeah, nice move from him in towards top secret. TYLOO pretty lucky to get away with that one alive. Nearly caught in transition. Yuanshen will join to bolster up these A defenses. So again, another one of these situations, and it's something we've seen quite consistently over this second half. When Falcons lose that numbers advantage, it does look like they quite immediately look a little shell-shocked and require something quite special for the recovery in the round itself. 45 seconds to work with. as they're heading towards outside, and Yuanshen, who opened up proceedings here, is ready and waiting for this swing in towards main. They're going to go contact about this as well, so he should be able to get at least one. The shadow spotted, but MongolZ just quicker on the trigger.
Oh, it's panicky. It's very, very panicky. We need something heroic here. Is it going to be the players from on high? It's down to the 1 versus 1. Tessus and Torzi both so very low. Tessus does have that bomb. He opts to pivot. He's dropped down the vent. That's been heard. He's going to get there in good time, though. Can he make it away? He goes for the open plan.
No.
Torzi mid-vent. How have you not landed that? The hitbox on the planter,
No
maybe.
way.
Tessus given a chance. Oh my goodness. Torzi gets it second time of asking, able to keep his composure. And he does take a moment, you know, finds the kill, and he's like, needs to let out a breath. Keeping the vibes high.
Of relief, man. If he had lost that,
Goodness.
if he had lost that, that's a clip that goes around the world. At the sort of dying embers of this map.
The roof comes off the place if Tessus wins that.
Yeah, that is so unbelievably close. My God, though. So panicked from both sides, to be honest, but MOUZ, they just give them opportunities. It's actually a really nice flick from his POV to cut the lead down to 3. And it finally feels like in this series, we're getting a map that's delivering on the expectations of these two big sides. We're going to dive in towards A here. We're kissing full blind on the A site. And the Tech-9s, the MP7s are doing well. As Nico's going to get another. No way. TSS's Tech-9 goes for more. And the Eco Rush, the half-bind popping towards the top site. And MOUZ are caught with their pants round their ankles. What a round to drop. And what a critical time to lose it. As Falcons find map series and grand final point. That is killer.
Let that sit for a moment. The 2 rounds that MOUZ have lost
Yeah.
are against the low buys. How ridiculous is that? We should be even. It should be a flawless CT half. And MOUZ know that. More than anybody. Unbelievable. I mean, a great call, though. You have to hand it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you go down the middle, makes sense. That's what you want to do. But after losing a big clutch, you expect like a harsh readjustment from, you know, high-level, high-stakes game. But no, they take it way back to basics. They go for the A burst and they catch MOUZ sleeping, severely sleeping, and also then panicking to try and mount that retake and, you know, stop the bomb plant, get some kills back. Could have been a moment if they slowed the roll slightly and tried to play around the 5-on-3, but not what we get. Timeout comes in for MOUZ. They have a rough buy now themselves with 5-7 sticking out, the MP9, no kit available, gonna have to get an advantage to work from in the early stages. And they need 4 in a row to take us to the overtime. I mean, it's got the energy behind it, but not enough rounds in the first half, dropping some really questionable ones in the second. MOUZ may look back on this and feel pretty disappointed if it goes the way that Falcons expect.
Yeah, and to make matters worse as well, it's not even a fleshed out buy for MOUZ. Yuanshen, just a pistol, MP9 for Zelex. And the util is so thin. They really have to win this by virtue of the firepower and by virtue of just the aim duels. Not a kit to play with either. And Falcons, after calling a really pacey round in round number 20, they slow the roll down here in 21 as they look to go contact towards Ram. Nico and Tessus are crossed on towards this right-hand side, and JL just overlooks that position. And now this is where Falcons can start to scale. Spinx on the edge of the smoke. Carrigan trying to hold the insurance policy down towards Vent, but he'll lose his fight. And that gives MOUZ an opportunity. 20 seconds as we're moving down towards B.
Doors are open. They got a couple players stacked on top of each other. Gonna have to find the trades, cancel the plant. Yep, that's exactly what you wanted. 10 seconds left. Just keep these players distracted and make sure they can't pick up the bomb. Messing around with the door here. They will take him down, but there's no time. There's no time for the plant. Oh, and MOUZ have done it again. The Torzi clutch before. The clock saving them here. It's Spinx this time around that picks up the pieces. That really does sum it up. Zelex has stepped it up into the second half, but Torzi and Spinx, a lot of moments to keep their team in this game.
Yeah, that denial of the plant is everything. And it's the risk when you play the clock like that for Falcons on the T side, leaving things very, very late as they're moving forward. About 25 seconds, they're heading in towards B. MOUZ aren't dead just yet. Still a little life left in them. But it really feels like to recover this and take it to OT, they're going to have to do it the hard way. With there being quite consistent residual cash for Falcons to fall back on. Outside smokes by Carrigan. Just the idea here, it did feel like the B hit as an idea was good. They just needed to give themselves an extra 10, 20 seconds to really shore up where to plant. But we're moving towards A. kyousuke for one, but Zelek Zershin, and Zershin again. The combination, these two split the difference with the 4 kills, leaving it all on the shoulders of Nico, and the round just falls apart so quickly as they move towards A. Double digits for MOUZ now, and maybe, just maybe, overtime is brewing.
Timeout in for Falcons. But yeah, these gun rounds again just look so convincing from MOUZ, and a bit of clutch factor to them. The opposite story, if not for those silly rounds, man. Will it cost them in the end? Will the Falcons break the rifle deadlock? They're hoping so. Still another timeout remaining. Do you just double stack them here? There is potential without the bomb plant. It could be a harsher buy for them going into the final round.
Yeah.
So you do just really make sure that you have this one in the bag. Full spend, but yeah, you can see with some, you know, dropping of AWPs, I believe, things like this, it will take them all the way down. No pennies left for Falcons to work with. So gonna need a bomb plant here, otherwise that round to stop them getting to overtime is not gonna be the best of buys. We'll find out. They're looking to get it done here, of course, off the back of the timeout. Outside execute coming in. Nico to move down below. There is a big old gap, maybe a Molotov thrown early. But you have to remember, a few rounds ago with those pistols, what did Nico do? Exactly this. Got down below, and they did not pay any attention to him at all.
And he got down a lot earlier this time too, so he has a lot of time to try and figure things out.
Someone has to be aware, has to communicate it. But they're not. They're really not. Like, nobody seems to be paying too much attention to the fact that he could be down. Now,
it's the fact that he's got to make noise. Whether you break a window or open a door, to really activate, he's got to make some sort of noise. I think he's going to wait for the molly to plume, and that's when he'll go.
He did it. This is what he did last time.
Yeah, and this actually might work.
But this they've not heard it. They've not heard it. They've definitely figured something out with that Molotov. JL will give it a look at the last second, but it doesn't matter. He's already dead to rights.
Oh!
Nico in from below has once again flanked them out. Oh, the sneaky Molotov might just have caught MOUZ off, and they will fall flat. The very final hurdle, it felt like, but Nico in behind once again. The secret sauce from Team Falcons to bail them out in their time of need.
What a call. What a call to make in a moment of such pressure like that on the stage in the dying embers of this decider. What a call to be made here. That is absolutely superb. And what a map 3 we got there.